Chapter 272. Long Yu's life of pill refinement began. During the day, he learned pill refinement from pine crane tree. He learned all sorts of knowledge about herbs, distinguishing the habits of various herbs, and practiced separating and fusing different attributes of medicinal properties. At night, he comprehended the lunar heavenly tablet with Lu Yuan for a period of time, then rested and continued the next day, repeating such a life. His understanding of alchemy was improving by leaps and bounds, which surprised Pine Crane a little. For ordinary martial cultivators to refine their first pill, they would need several months of theoretical knowledge, practicing separating and fusing medicinal properties, etc. However, Long Yu managed to refine a mortal grade upper grade pill in a mere week. Although it was only mortal grade high grade, Pine Crane Tree praised him endlessly. He clearly did not feel that Long Yu had a pill heart, but he could indeed refine pills and see medicinal properties. It could be said to be the greatest wonder in the world. Pine Crane Tree naturally did not know that Long Yu had the 9 underworld dragon mark on his chest. Autumn passed, and winter came. Winter passed, and spring came. Half a year passed in a flash. At this time, the remaining half of the lunar heavenly tablet finally shrunk to the size of a fist under the joint comprehension of Long Yu and Lu Yuan. As long as they finished absorbing this fist-sized lunar heavenly tablet, their comprehension of the laws of moon would reach the level of domain. During this time, Long Yu refined all sorts of pills, ranging from mortal grade to spirit grade, with the highest reaching spirit grade high grade, to Pine Crane Tree satisfaction. Long Yu would usually refine 2 or 3 of each pill for himself, and Lu Yuan to consume. In this half a year, the two of them each consumed dozens of pills, and Lu Yuan finally stepped into the 5th level of the true spirit secret realm. Ever since Long Yu entered a wondrous state that night in the valley and stepped into the 6th level of the true spirit secret realm, his progress had been extremely slow. Wanting to break through the bottleneck and reach the realm of true spirit as one was definitely not a simple matter. Even though Long Yu consumed many pills, it was just a drop in the bucket for the heaven and earth spiritual energy he needed to advance. If he wanted to advance quickly, the only way was to consume various kinds of profound grade pills. However, it was still very difficult for him to refine profound grade pills. The most fundamental reason, of course, was the lack of materials. Alchemy, of course, could directly turn the materials into elixirs, increasing the efficiency of direct consumption, but finding the materials was not a simple matter. Finally, on this day, Dust Crane Pine went out to gather medicinal herbs and brought back 3 heaven flower vermilion fruits. This made Long Yu's eyes light up. Elder Shi, can the heaven flower vermilion fruit be used together with the fluorescent water spirit grass to refine the profound great heaven flower water spirit pill? The fluorescent water spirit grass that Long Yu had previously obtained in the hidden bone abyss finally came in handy. Indeed, but the fluorescent water spirit grass is extremely rare. At the very least, it cannot be found in this passionless mountain range. Pine Crane said casually. Then, can Elder Shi refine the heavenly flower water spirit pill for me? Long Yu took out the remaining 3 stalks of fluorescent water spirit grass from the 9 nether space. Speaking of which, it was strange. These 3 stalks of fluorescent water spirit grass had clearly been harvested for more than half a year, but now they looked as if they had just been harvested. It seemed like this 9 nether space still had the ability to preserve the freshness of medicinal herbs. This made Long Yu quite surprised. After all, if the fluorescent water spirit grass was not fresh, its medicinal properties would inevitably be lost. Wanting to successfully refine a profound grade pill would be quite difficult. 3 stalks of fluorescent water spirit grass. What a coincidence! Pine Crane's eyes lit up. He never thought that he would obtain 3 stalks of fluorescent water spirit grass after just bringing back 3 heaven flower vermilion fruits. This was simply a heaven-sent opportunity. Moreover, these 3 stalks of fluorescent water spirit grass were so fresh, as if they had just been harvested. This made Pine Crane Pine realize that Long Yu definitely had a very high grade space weapon on him. Otherwise, it was impossible to preserve these 3 stalks of fluorescent water spirit grass so well. I can refine 3 heavenflower water spirit pills, just nice for each of you. Pine Crane Pine was pleasantly surprised and immediately prepared to refine the pills. The Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill was a high-grade, profound-grade pill. It was extremely difficult to refine, but to Pine Crane Pine, it was not too difficult. After all, he had refined higher-grade pills before. These 3 pills could be said to be something that could not be bought with money, and were extremely precious to Pine Crane Pine. If the refinement was successful, his granddaughter, Shi Yingwu, would definitely be able to step into LV5 of the true spirit realm, and was not far from LV6. Because of Pine Crane Pine's identity as an alchemist, Shi Yingwu had already reached the same martial Dao realm as Lu Yuan, even though she was only 14 years old. It cannot be denied that the power of pills was endless. Moreover, Shi Yingwu's martial Dao talent was not bad. With the help of enough pills, the speed of her martial Dao realm would naturally be extraordinary. However, most of the pills that Pine Crane Pine could refine had already been used by Shi Yingwu. If she wanted to improve, she could only refine some rarer pills. The Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill was one of them. As the medicinal properties of pills were divided into the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth for a martial cultivator, taking pills to improve their martial Dao realm was usually the limit of the 6th true spirit realm. After that, even if one took different pills, the medicinal properties would still be composed of the 5 elements, so the effect would be reduced. Further up, it was mainly up to the martial cultivator themselves. However, some high-grade pills were not in this category, because the medicinal properties of these pills were very strong. Even if the effect was reduced, it was still very obvious to the martial cultivator. The Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill was one of them. If this high-grade, profound-grade pill was taken out, even the experts of the heavenly realm would fight for it. In terms of value, it could not be bought without at least 50 crystal cores, and most of the time, there was no market for it. The fluorescent water spirit grass and the Heavenflower vermilion fruit were too rare. Moreover, alchemists who could refine the Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill were very rare in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. One had at least reached the 7th true spirit realm to successfully refine the Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill. For example, Elder Bai of the Jintian clan, who could refine the Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill with the Heaven Heart Dragon Grass, had to rely on the help of a group of people. Pine Crane quickly went out to look for other supplementary medicinal materials to refine the Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill. As for Long Yu, he could only watch the process from the sidelines. In the past 6 months, one of his greatest enjoyment could be said to be the culinary skills of the young lady, Shi Yingwu. Although she was young, the dishes she made were infinitely delicious. Be it the old man, Long Yu, or Lu Yuan, they all praised her incessantly. As for Shi Yingwu, she gradually changed from being quiet at the beginning to a cheerful person. In the past, it had always been her and Pine Crane living here, and their days were very boring. But now, with Long Yu and Lu Yuan around, she felt a lot of joy. It had to be said that the young lady was very cute when she smiled. In terms of appearance, she definitely did not lose to Lu Yuan. It was just that she was still young, and her figure had not been revealed yet, of course. Long Yu would not have any thoughts about this young lady. As for Lu Yuan, the two of them had gone through many things together, and now that they were together day and night, they had developed a kind of tacit understanding. Now that the two of them were working together, no matter what they did, it could be said that they had a tacit understanding. The Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill was quickly refined by Pine Crane. There were a total of 3 pills, and he gave one each to Long Yu, Lu Yuan, and Shi Yingwu. That night, the 3 of them took the pills respectively. Shi Yingwu stepped into the 5th true spirit realm in one go, and Lu Yuan also stepped into the 6th true spirit realm in one go. Only Long Yu did not increase his martial Dao realm even after taking the Heavenflower Water Spirit Pill. There was a huge bottleneck in order to break through to the unity of true spirit realm. This bottleneck was extremely difficult for any martial cultivator to break through. One had to know that the unity of true spirit was the foundation of unity of heaven and man. Only by achieving unity of true spirit could one step into the unity of heaven and man realm. As for unity of true spirit, it meant that the true spirit had completely merged with the heavens and earth and could borrow the power of the law of heaven and earth. The nearest big city in the Passionless Mountain Range, Soldier Death City, is hundreds of miles away. After everyone took the Heaven Flower Water Spirit pill, Pine Crane gave a list of herbs to Long Yu. Go to Soldier Death City and buy some of these herbs for me. Long Yu took a look at the list of herbs and discovered that each of the herbs on the list was no less precious than the fluorescent water spirit grass and the heaven flower vermilion fruit. What kind of elixir is this? Long Yu jumped in fright. An Empyrean's secret elixir. Pine Crane smiled. Although I'm old, I still want to step into the Empyrean realm one day and reach that legendary level. The reason why I brought Xiao Wu to the northern seaborder city is because I heard that a rare herb had appeared there, so I went to buy it. Long Yu's heart skipped a beat when he heard this. An Empyrean's secret elixir. Just from a name, one could tell that this elixir was used to help martial cultivators step into the Empyrean realm. One could imagine the value of such an elixir. It would probably be difficult to buy even with thousands of crystal cores. Not only was it difficult to refine, but it also required 16 main herbs, each of which was worth more than 50 crystal cores. Furthermore, they were extremely rare. This old man is over 70 years old. In fact, when I was in my 50s, I had already stepped into the 9th layer true spirit realm. Now that more than 20 years have passed, I've finally gathered most of the ingredients for the Empyrean pill. I'm only missing these 3. Pine Crane pointed at the list of herbs he passed along you. Recently, I heard that 2 of these herbs had appeared in Soldier Death City. Go and buy them for me. Why me? Long Yu was somewhat puzzled. Because I've planted the last herb in the Passionless Mountain Range 20 years ago. Now, I have to pick it myself. However, it's dangerous to go there, so I have to go there myself. Chapter 273. Long Yu and the 2 girls went out together with the 100 crystal cores Shi Husong gave them. They had to fly to Soldier Demise City from the Passionless Mountain Range. Otherwise, Long Yu and the 2 girls would not be able to leave the Passionless Mountain Range alive. However, it would be much easier to fly through the air. Although the Lunar Wings and Long Yu had some conflicts, they had to listen to Long Yu. The main reason was that they had been modified by the 9 Underworld Dragon Seal. When they were not in a hurry, Long Yu was too lazy to use the Dragon Sparrow dance. After all, using a martial skill would consume Xianxi, but activating the Lunar Wings did not require it. This was the benefit of being in divine fusion with the Lunar Wings. Unfortunately, it seemed impossible to be in divine fusion with the Lunar Wings. Long Yu brought the 2 girls and quickly flew out of the Passionless Mountain Range. Then, he descended and walked on the main road towards Death Soldier City. Once they reach a place with a lot of people, it would not be appropriate to continue flying. If they encountered any danger, this would be Long Yu's life-saving capital. Xiao Wu, did you rarely leave the Passionless Mountain Range? Lu Yuan was still in her black outfit. It wrapped around her exquisite figure and made people's imagination run wild. She asked casually when she saw the smile on Shi Yangwu's face. Yes. Shi Yangwu nodded. Her cute cheeks were dotted with red. This 14-year-old girl rarely left her grandfather's side and was curious about everything. If she really encountered an accident in the North Seaborder City, it would really be a tragedy. Xiao Wu, where are your parents? As Long Yu walked, he asked thoughtfully. I heard from grandfather that my parents passed away when I was born. We live in the Passionless Mountain Range to avoid our enemies. Shi Yingwu seemed a little sad. However, she did not feel too much because she had never seen her parents. Hiding from enemies? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. He had always been with the old man, Shi Husong, and had never heard of this. It was only now that he was alone with Shi Yingwu that he managed to find out some information. Where did Shi Husong and Shi Yingwu come from? As she had not interacted much with others, Shi Yingwu had become very close to Lu Yuan and Long Yu in the past 6 months. She even regarded them as her elder brothers and sisters. Long Yu took two beautiful girls with him as he walked on the road to Death Soldier City. Along the way, he attracted the attention of the passers-by. "Brother Long, why are they all looking at me?" Shi Yingwu was sensitive to other people's gazes, so she tugged at Long Yu's sleeve and whispered, "Because you're beautiful," Long Yu said with a smile. "Remember, no matter who tries to strike up a conversation with you, ignore them." Along the road, anyone who tried to strike up a conversation would definitely be up to no good, so there was no need to pay attention to them. As for Long Yu's words, Shi Yingwu regarded them as the truth and nodded her head repeatedly. Since they had flown for some time, the three of them were not far from Death Soldier City. Not long after, a city with black walls appeared at the end of the road. Death Soldier City was one of the largest cities in the entire Beihai Kingdom. It was much larger than the Beihai border city. There were probably more martial cultivators who had reached the true spirit realm in Death Soldier City than in the entire Tang Kingdom. This used to be the capital of the Beihai Kingdom. However, because it had been conquered by other countries, the Beihai Kingdom had moved the capital to another city. Later on, the Beihai Kingdom took back Death Soldier City and built it into a fortress-like city. It was very difficult to conquer it again. Because of this, Death Soldier City could be said to be one of the two central cities of the Beihai Kingdom. Needless to say, it was very prosperous. Long Yu brought the two girls all the way to the gate of Death Soldier City. They were not interrogated and followed the crowd into the city. There were too many martial cultivators going in and out of Death Soldier City every day. It was impossible to interrogate everyone. In any case, there were Heavenly Realm experts in Death Soldier City, so not everyone would dare to cause trouble. Once a city was overseen by a Celestial Realm expert, it would be completely different from other cities. Even other Celestial Realm experts would not dare to act wildly in such a city. After entering the city, Long Yu began to inquire about the whereabouts of the two materials needed to refine the heavenly secret pill. One of them was called the Golden Essence Fruit. It was an extremely rare alchemy material that contained the power of metal. However, there was news about the Golden Essence Fruit in Death Soldier City recently. The other herb was called the Mysterious Leaf of 10,000 Laws. It appeared in an auction house in Death Soldier City. The auction house promoted the Mysterious Leaf of 10,000 Laws on a large scale. Because of this, almost everyone knew about it. Long Yu entered Death Soldier City and asked about the Golden Essence Fruit. He soon got the result. According to the information he had gathered, he brought the two girls to a large free trade plaza in Fallen Soldier City. Countless martial cultivators from the Beihai Kingdom, as well as martial cultivators from the sects and families of the Beihai Kingdom, were doing business here. The whole trading square was filled with at least tens of thousands of people. Long Yu had never seen such a large scale. He thought to himself that the Beihai Kingdom was indeed much stronger than the Tang Kingdom. In comparison, the Tang Kingdom was just a small country on the northern border of the mainland. The young man selling the Golden Essence Fruit is over there. Very quickly, someone pointed Long Yu and the two girls in a direction, towards a corner of the trading plaza. The three of them looked over and saw a young man in ragged clothes sitting in the corner of the trading square, guarding a stall. There were many people in front of the stall. Unfortunately, most of them had heard about the Golden Essence Fruit and came to watch the show. "Let's go and take a look." Long Yu beckoned to the two girls and walked over to the stall. He heard that the young man in ragged clothes was selling the Golden Essence Fruit. However, his conditions were very harsh. He did not need crystal cores. Instead, he wanted people to agree to one of his conditions. This condition was something that most martial cultivators in the Jianghu could not do. Because of this, the Golden Essence Fruit had been on display for a few days. Many people had asked about it, but no one had been able to buy it. There were many martial cultivators with evil intentions for such a valuable item. However, the young man in ragged clothes was an LV9 True Spirit Realm martial cultivator. Needless to say, no one was allowed to cause trouble in the free trading square of Death Soldier City. Otherwise, the Heavenly Realm martial cultivator guarding Death Soldier City would not be easy to deal with. "Brother, Even if you sell this golden essence fruit for 50 crystal cores, there will definitely be people who want it. Why do you have to make such a harsh condition? That's right. If you sell it for 50 crystal cores, I will buy it right now, without hesitation. In your dreams. If you wanted to sell it for money, would he have waited for you? You have sold it a few days ago. However, this condition is too harsh. Who can save a person whose heart meridian has been shattered? As Long Yu approached the stall, he heard the surrounding martial cultivators whispering to each other about the golden essence fruit. When Long Yu heard this, he was a little confused. Save a person whose heart meridians had been shattered? This was the condition? He squeezed into the crowd and soon saw a large block of ice in front of the young man in ragged clothes. Within the block of ice, there was a figure completely frozen. The person who can save my brother will get the golden essence fruit. A line of words was engraved on the bottom of the block of ice, indicating the price one had to pay to obtain the golden essence fruit. Save a person whose heart meridian had been shattered? This condition was really strange. My grandfather said that he might be able to save him. We just need to bring this person back. Shi Yangwu tugged on Long Yu's sleeve and said, "Why didn't he tell me?" Long Yu pursed his lips. That old man only told this to his granddaughter. What if she suddenly forgot about it? Now, Long Yu was faced with a difficult problem. How could he convince this young man that there was someone behind him who could save the person in the block of ice? This young man was about 25 or 26 years old, but he had reached LV9 of the true spirit secret realm. He was definitely not someone who could be fooled. To make him believe in Long Yu was more difficult than ascending to the heavens. However, Long Yu had to make him believe in him. Otherwise, if he could not bring the golden essence fruit back, Dusk Crane Pine would not be able to refine the celestial secret pill and enter the celestial realm. To Long Yu, being able to watch an expert enter the celestial secret realm would be of great benefit to him. It was very likely that when he was facing the bottleneck of breaking through to the celestial secret realm, he would be enlightened because of this observation. In front of the stall, a crowd came and went. However, the young man in ragged clothes kept his head down and did not look at the crowd. In his eyes, there was only his brother who was frozen in the block of ice. What should we do now? Lu Yuan asked softly. Let's wait and see if there's any chance. Long Yu shook his head. He could not possibly go up and tell the other party that he could save his brother, right? Why would the other party believe him, a LV6 true spirit secret realm kid? Long Yu did not have to wait for long before the opportunity came. Get out of the way! Get out of the way! What are you blocking? Get out of my way! A large group of rude curses could be heard, and the crowd was quickly dispersed by a group of menacing people. There were more than 10 people in this group of martial cultivators, and all of them were experts in the unity of true spirit realm. They broke through the crowd and came to the stall of the young man in ragged clothes, surrounding the entire stall. This group of martial cultivators was unstoppable. Of course, Long Yu was not spared and was pushed away. For a moment, many people were pointing and discussing. None of them knew what was going on. Are these guys here for revenge? Is there something wrong with your brain? Even if they want revenge, they can't do it in the trading square. Do they want to die? Are these people here to buy the adamantine fruit? Chapter 274. As soon as Long Yu and the two ladies arrived at the trading square of Fallen Soldier City, a large group of martial cultivators rushed over and chased everyone away from the stalls. We, the Clearwater Pavilion, can save your brother, but you have to give us the essence gold fruit first. The leader of the group of martial cultivators said in an arrogant manner as soon as they surrounded the stall. His cultivation was at rank 8 true spirit realm. Although he was not strong enough against the young man in ragged clothes, he had someone backing him up. The Clearwater Pavilion was one of the top organizations in Fallen Soldier City that specialized in selling elixirs, and these martial cultivators were the hired thugs sent by the Clearwater Pavilion. The young man's clothes were ragged, as if he had been bitten by a demonic beast. He lowered his head and stared at the martial cultivator in the ice. Without lifting his head, he said coldly, I was able to obtain the essence gold fruit because of my brother's sacrifice. If you want it, you have to save him first. Humph, The pill alchemists of the Clearwater Pavilion are pressed for time. Why would they have the time to save him? The leader snorted and said disdainfully, "Believe it or not, no one in the entire fallen soldier city can save your brother apart from the Clearwater Pavilion. Prove it to me first." The young man in ragged clothes did not move at all. He only moved his lips and said, "Can you tell that I'm also severely injured? Of course, my injuries are much lighter than my brother's. If you want to save my brother, you have to treat me first." Asking him to go to the Clearwater Pavilion? That would be courting death. No one would dare to touch him in the trading square, but it would be a different story once he left the trading square. If he went to the Clearwater Pavilion, he would not be able to do anything. What if the other party did not save his brother? What if the other party ambushed him? Therefore, it was normal for the other party to prove that they had the ability to save his brother. However, this action was a little inappropriate in the eyes of the crowd. This kid actually offended someone from the Clearwater Pavilion. In my opinion, only the Clearwater Pavilion can save his brother in Soldier Demise City. That's right. Although his brother's heart meridian was shattered, he was frozen in time. He should still be alive. The Clearwater Pavilion should have a way to save him. So what if there is a way? These people are ferocious. If it were you, would you dare to go? For a time, the surrounding people whispered to each other, and Long Yu's eyes lit up. Save the ragged young man himself? That was not difficult at all. He still had a bottle of healing medicinal pills that Pine Crane had given him. Other than the serious injury of having his heart meridian shattered, there was basically no problem with his other injuries, and the effects were extremely good. Before long, you could make a decision. The situation suddenly changed. Stinking brat, you refuse a toast only to be forced to drink a forfeit. When you sold the golden essence fruit, you only said that you wanted to save your brother. What? Now you want me to save you? The leader of the Clearwater Pavilion harumphed coldly and waved his hand. If you refuse to leave, we brothers will have to personally escort you back. We said that. The surrounding people were shocked. This was the trading plaza of Parish Soldier City. Even if they were from the Clearwater Pavilion, how would they dare to make a move here? Could it be that the people from the Clearwater Pavilion had already established a connection with the city lord of Parish Soldier City before coming here? Otherwise, they wouldn't have waited so long for the golden essence fruit to appear. The young man was in danger now. Many people thought to themselves, but they had no intention of interfering. The other party was the Clearwater Pavilion, so anyone who interfered would be putting their lives at risk. Are you guys trying to use force? The shabbily dressed young man still didn't raise his head. He only asked indifferently, "Of course not. We are just inviting you to the Clearwater Pavilion and save your brother. You should know that the alchemists of the Clearwater Pavilion are merciful people." The leader scoffed and said disdainfully, "It's fine if you don't appreciate our kindness, but you actually dare to suspect us. You can't atone for your sins." What a dignified statement. Since you're being merciful, you should save me as well. Isn't that better than building a 7-story pagoda? The young man sneered. It's obvious that the people from the Clearwater Pavilion are not sincere. Right at this moment, another young man's voice sounded out from the outside, and it instantly caused many people to be shocked. Who was it that dared to speak at this time? When they turned to look at the person who spoke, they saw a young man in black who was only at the 6th-layer True Spirit Secret Realm. He seemed to be around 18 or 19 years old. This person was none other than Long Yu. He knew that if the people from the Clearwater Pavilion kidnapped the young man now, he would not have a chance to obtain the golden essence fruit. Therefore, he had to step forward even if it meant offending the Clearwater Pavilion. Who do you think you are? The 8th-layer True Spirit Secret Realm Martial Cultivator from the Clearwater Pavilion turned around and glanced at Long Yu with a smirk. What right do you have to stand here and talk to me? In this world, strength is what matters when one speaks. Well said. In this world, strength is what matters when one speaks. Long Yu's lips curled upward as he said calmly, "Since your Clearwater Pavilion wants the golden essence fruit, and I also want the golden essence fruit, why don't we have a duel? And if you lose, you'll back out." These words were like a slap to the martial cultivator's face. He was an 8th-layer True Spirit Secret Realm expert. On the other hand, the young man in black before him was a 6th-layer True Spirit Secret Realm kid. with a difference of 2 layers of martial realm and 4 times the basic strength. If they were to fight, who would win? It was obvious that the kid was looking down on him. The 8th layer true spirit secret realm expert's face darkened as he glared at Long Yu. You're courageous, but it's a pity that you don't know what's good for you. You've reached the end of your life. It's hard to tell who will win. Long Yu let out a chuckle and said, by the way, brother, I have an elder who can save your brother. As for your injury, try consuming this pill. Having said that, he casually tossed a pill towards a young man in ragged clothes who was sitting on the ground. The young man seemed surprised as he reached out to catch the pill. Instantly, a thick medicinal aroma filled the air, causing many people's eyes to flash with shock. This Dan was definitely a spiritual level Dan. Yet this young man threw it to the young man without hesitation. Unfortunately, there seemed to be something wrong with this kid's brain. He was only in the 6th layer true spirit secret realm, and he wanted to fight against a level 8 true spirit secret realm expert. He was courting death. Although fighting was prohibited in the trading plaza of Demise Soldier City, it did not prohibit duels. For example, Long Yu had a conflict with the level 8 true spirit secret realm expert. If it was a duel, Demise Soldier City would not care. You sure are confident, but it's a pity that your confidence is too blind. The level 8 true spirit secret realm expert grinned and stepped forward. My name is Jin Xiong, in case you don't know who you've offended in the afterlife. Jin Xiong. Long Yu came to a realization. In that case, even if I kill you here, no one will blame me, right? Bullshit. If you have the ability to kill me, come try. I'll let you have the first 3 moves. Jin Xiong harumphed as he walked up to Long Yu and looked at him disdainfully. You're letting me have the first 3 moves again? Every time someone says that to me, they die a horrible death. Long Yu was puzzled. Why did these people have such a sense of superiority? Whenever they saw someone with a lower martial realm, they would bully him with their lives and even let him have the first 3 moves to show off their strength. If it was Long Yu, he would not waste his breath and would just kill him. Jin Xiong's appearance was barbaric. It was easy to tell that he liked to use brute force to solve his problems. Facing such an opponent, Long Yu was not afraid. It was going to be a good show. The surrounding people all made a large space for the 2 of them to gamble. However, even though it was just a gamble, no one thought that it would be anything exciting. LV6 versus LV8 of True Spirit Realm? What a joke. Everyone pointed at the duel and looked at Long Yu as though he was a fool. However, if Long Yu did not have confidence in himself, why would he propose a duel in such a high-profile manner? Since you're letting me have the first 3 moves, I won't stand on ceremony. Don't regret it. Long Yu squinted his eyes. Do you think you're qualified to make me, Jin Xiong, regret it? Jin Xiong harumphed coldly, not taking Long Yu seriously at all. Long Yu did not say anything further. At this moment, it was all about strength. He took a step forward and was secretly on his guard as he prepared to make his move. Jin Xiong might seem to be looking down on him, but in reality, no one knew what he was thinking. Would he really let Jin Xiong have the first 3 moves? No one who could reach LV8 of True Spirit Realm was a fool. Demon subduing Vajra Seal. Long Yu first executed a move that he had not used for a long time. It was not powerful, but it was fast and made it easier for Long Yu to react. After all, he could kill someone with a single punch. Since Jin Xiong had given him the first 3 moves, there was no need for him to use his killing move right from the start. A faint golden glow appeared on Long Yu's palm, and the power it contained made Jin Xiong laugh coldly. How dare you challenge me, Jin Xiong, with such little capability? A murderous look appeared on Jin Xiong's ferocious face. He ignored Long Yu's attack and drew out a machete from his waist. A saber radiance instantly gathered and slashed at Long Yu's head. As expected, Jin Xiong didn't abide by the agreement to let Long Yu have 3 moves. Instead, he chose to take the opportunity to kill Long Yu when Long Yu made his move. As I expected, but it's a pity, Long Yu curled his lips. Jin Xiong was too naive to think that he could kill him with a mere saber radiance. The demon subduing Vajra Seal was only a test. Chapter 275. Jin Xiong's saber light caused the surrounding crowd to hiss. He said he would let Long Yu make 3 moves, but Jin Xiong couldn't help but fight back when Long Yu made his first move. He was treating his words like a fart. It was obvious that Jin Xiong had expected that Long Yu, who was only in the 6th level of the true spirit secret realm, dared to challenge him. He pretended to be confident and said he would let Long Yu make 3 moves. When Long Yu let his guard down, he would kill Long Yu in 1 move. This undoubtedly showed Jin Xiong's extreme cunning. To survive in this world where martial arts were respected, brute force was obviously not enough. The brain was also very important. Jin Xiong's cunning was what he relied on to survive and to step into a higher realm of martial arts. Unfortunately, his schemes were too childish to deal with Long Yu. Long Yu had long been on guard against him. When the saber light attacked, Long Yu condensed a layer of the Yellow Springs barrier and blocked the saber light. Both sides broke apart, and a wave of profound chi spread out. It was a draw. Everyone was shocked when they saw this scene. Although they despised Jin Xiong's sneak attack, they all felt that Long Yu would not be able to escape. Not to mention that his martial realm was 2 levels lower. He had actually suffered a sneak attack. But now it seemed that not only was this kid strong, he was also extremely cautious. Jin Xiong was dreaming if he wanted to sneak attack him. Didn't you say you would let me make 3 moves? It seems that what you said was bullsh asterisk T. Long Yu laughed. In that case, most of you people from the Clearwater Pavilion are like this. You definitely have bad intentions for letting this brother go to the Clearwater Pavilion. He blocked his opponent's killing move and immediately mercilessly punished him, causing Jin Xiong and the group of Clearwater Pavilion martial cultivators to be furious. Brat, you think you're qualified to be arrogant in front of me just because you block my saber? Jin Xiong roared in fury, die. Jin Xiong felt like he had lost all face after being blocked by a kid at the 6th level of the true spirit secret realm. If he couldn't kill this kid, how would he have the face to work for the Clearwater Pavilion in the future? He brandished the long saber in his hand and condensed several black saber light whirlwinds. With the momentum of a dark cloud pressing down on a city, they surged toward Long Yu and shrouded him. Water defense screen. When Long Yu was laughing, he had already prepared this defensive martial skill. Suddenly, a thin layer of water screen appeared around him, completely blocking the opponent's whirlwind-like black saber light. Not only that, this mid-grade, profound, ranked defensive martial skill was also able to reflect the strength of the opponent's attack. The pitch-black whirlwinds of saber light turned around and attacked Jin Xiong, startling him. Although the power of the pitch-black whirlwind of saber light was much weaker than what he had displayed, he would still be seriously injured by the reflected saber light if he did not use any defensive measures. Half-moon saber. Jin Xiong swung the large saber in his hand and immediately condensed a half-moon saber light. It instantly spread out and blocked all the black saber light whirlwinds. However, before he could breathe a sigh of relief, Long Yu's next martial skill had already arrived. Water defense whirlpool. A whirlpool of water appeared in the blink of an eye and sucked Jin Xiong into it, causing him to spin and fall heavily to the ground. Stop! Just as Long Yu was about to take advantage of the situation to kill Jin Xiong, the other Clearwater Pavilion martial cultivators in the 7th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm all rushed forward and attacked Long Yu. The Clearwater Pavilion is really admirable. Long Yu laughed heartily and quickly retreated. At the same time, he shouted, "We agreed on a one-on-one duel. I didn't expect your Clearwater Pavilion's people to be so weak. Furthermore, you actually want to outnumber us. Don't forget that this is the trading square of the Death Soldier City." Long Yu's last words caused the martial cultivators in the 7th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm to hesitate. All of them stopped in their tracks. It was fine to fight in the trading square, but if it was a group fight, the City Lord of the Death Soldier City would have to intervene. "Boss Jin, what should we do now?" They all looked at Jin Xiong, who had been swept away by the whirlpool and fell to the ground, with a questioning look on their faces. With the help of one of them, Jin Xiong barely managed to stand up. He felt that his internal organs were constantly churning. The power of the whirlpool had actually seeped into his body, causing his internal organs to twist and distort. He, Jin Xiong, an expert in the 8th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm, had been seriously injured by a lad in the 6th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm. Jin Xiong's face was filled with ferocity. He looked at Long Yu as if he wanted to tear him apart. However, he knew that he had no chance now. He could not let Long Yu go so easily. Let's go. Brat, just you wait and see. Jin Xiong had no choice but to leave for the time being. However, he would definitely have other ways to deal with Long Yu. Long Yu narrowed his eyes as he led the group of rank 7 True Spirit Realm Martial Cultivators out of the trading square. He had never said that he would let Jin Xiong go. Another explosion. Long Yu looked at the backs of Jin Xiong and the others as they left and punched the ground. Suddenly, a thick and violent 9 nether chi accumulated under the ground. In the next moment, it exploded like a volcano eruption. The pitch-black pillar of 9 nether chi completely enveloped Jin Xiong in it. With a loud bang, Jin Xiong let out a blood-curdling scream. Everyone was stunned by the scene. This lad in the 6th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm was really daring. Not only was he powerful, but he was also bold enough to kill the Clearwater Pavilion's fighter, Jin Xiong, in front of everyone. The rest of the people from the Clearwater Pavilion scattered in all directions when they felt the terrifying power of the Pillar of 9 Nether Chi. They could only watch as Jin Xiong was corroded by the Pillar of 9 Nether Chi and turned into a dried corpse. A chill ran down their spines. They had thought that they would be able to follow Jin Xiong back and get more people from the Clearwater Pavilion to deal with this lad. They had not expected that this lad would not let Jin Xiong go and kill him first. Brat, you will not even know how you will die after offending the Clearwater Pavilion. The remaining martial cultivators from the Clearwater Pavilion looked at Long Yu and threatened him. Then do you know who you are facing now? Long Yu chuckled. He was not bothered by their threats. If he was afraid, he wouldn't have jumped out and intervened in this matter. Let's go. The Clearwater Pavilion martial cultivators in the 7th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm did not dare to speak to Long Yu and quickly left. They were not sure of Long Yu's identity. There was nothing to be afraid of when he was a stranger, but he was only in the 6th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm. The fact that he could kill Jin Xiong so easily showed that he was not simple. They did not dare to act on their own against such an opponent. They could only return and report to the higher-ups of the Clearwater Pavilion. A profound level martial skill is indeed extraordinary. Long Yu thought about the battle just now as he watched the people from the Clearwater Pavilion leave. Jin Xiong was an expert in the 8th level of the True Spirit Secret Realm. It was a pity that the martial skills he cultivated were only middle or upper spiritual level saber skills. Although his basic strength was strong, he was at a complete disadvantage against Long Yu, who cultivated a middle black level martial skill. Of course, Jin Xiong could be said to be one of the weakest martial cultivators in the 8th layer of the True Spirit Secret Realm. His strength was even weaker than the 10,000 Arrow sect disciple Kai Shinji that Long Yu had killed before, so it was easy to deal with him. If he were to face a powerful rank 8 True Spirit expert, even if Long Yu wanted to win, it would not be so easy. The effect of this pill is not bad. At this moment, the voice of the ragged young man in front of the stall once again attracted everyone's attention. The surrounding people couldn't help but look at the young man, only to see that he had finally raised his head and was no longer staring at his brother in the ice block. Although this young man's clothes were ragged, his face was rather delicate and could even be said to be handsome. Although he looked to be only 25 or 26 years old, his eyes were very mature. He raised his head and looked at Long Yu. Who refined this elixir? The young man asked. It's the grandfather of a friend of mine. He's a pill master, and his martial Dao realm is the same as yours. Long Yu narrowed his eyes and replied, Martial Dao realm, same as yours. This sentence caused the young man's pupils to contract. Alchemist at the 9th level of the True Spirit realm? To be honest, martial cultivators at the ninth level of the true spirit realm were not rare. In fact, there were a lot of them in many places. However, alchemists at the ninth level of the true spirit realm were extremely rare. This was because not only did this require a martial cultivator to have talent in alchemy, they also needed to have outstanding talent in the martial Tao. Originally, people with talent in alchemy were 1 in a million, and at the same time, they also had outstanding talent in the martial Tao. This was extremely rare. Any alchemist at the ninth level of the true spirit realm was definitely in existence that was revered by others. I believe you. The young man nodded solemnly. For Long Yu to be able to defeat the rank 8 true spirit martial cultivator of the Water Clear Cloud Pavilion, Jin Xiong, with his rank 6 true spirit martial Tao realm, he undoubtedly had many secrets on him. It wasn't strange for him to have a rank 9 true spirit alchemist behind him. In fact, only then would people feel that it was acceptable. Otherwise, it would be too unbelievable for Long Yu to be able to cross 2 realms and defeat his opponent. My name is Tian Yuqian. What about you? The young man introduced himself to Long Yu. Long Yu. The corner of Long Yu's mouth curled up as he replied. He had finally obtained the other party's trust. It seemed that Dusk Crane Pine's healing pill was indeed very useful. Just from this healing pill, one could see Dusk Crane Pine's alchemy level. The following matters would be much easier to handle. Unfortunately, Long Yu still had something to do in Soldier Death City, and that was to participate in the auction and obtain the 10,000 Law Mysterious Leaf. Brother Long, may I ask where your friend's grandfather is now? The young man, Tian Yuqian, couldn't wait to save his brother who was frozen in ice, so he asked anxiously. I can't bring you there now. I still have to go to the auction house to bid for the 10,000 Law Mysterious Leaf. After I'm done, I'll come find you again. After Long Yu finished speaking, he turned around and left the trading plaza. Lu Yuan had already brought Shi Ying Wu to the auction house where the 10,000 Law Mysterious Leaf was being auctioned. The reason why she didn't move with Long Yu was because she wanted to offend the Water Clear Cloud Pavilion. Long Yu didn't want to implicate them. Bid for the 10,000 Law Mysterious Leaf. The expressions of the surrounding people changed when they heard this. The 10,000 Law Mysterious Leaf was a rare medicinal ingredient that could be bought with at least 50 crystal cores. It seemed that this young man was not simple. Chapter 276. The young man, Tian Yuqian, didn't follow Long Yu. Instead, he watched Long Yu's departing figure before settling down in the market and closing his eyes to rest. The auction for the Mystic Law Leaf would be held the next day. Tian Yuqian could afford to wait just to show his trust in Long Yu. As for where to wait, it was naturally the market. In the entire demise of Soldier City, this was the safest place to be. Although the Clearwater Pavilion had come in a threatening manner, they didn't dare to make a move after a single shout from Long Yu. It was clear that they still had some reservations about making a move in the market. When Long Yu's figure disappeared from Tian Yuqian's sight, he lowered his head and looked at his brother, who was still frozen in ice. This brother was his friend, Lu Xiao. The two of them had been injured because they had tried to snatch a golden essence fruit from a demonic beast. Lu Xiao's heart meridian had been shattered by the demonic beast, so Tian Yuqian immediately used the Law of Ice to freeze Lu Xiao. Otherwise, Lu Xiao would have died a long time ago, and it would have been impossible for him to survive for such a long time. Now, Lu Xiao was frozen in ice, and his injuries would not worsen. Tian Yuqian was confident in this. He would be fine after waiting for a day. As soon as Long Yu left the market, he sensed that he was being watched, but he didn't care. Next, he would head to the auction house of a large family in the city to auction the Mystic Law Leaf. If possible, it would be best to get his hands on it before the auction. He believed that the Clearwater Pavilion wouldn't dare to act recklessly in the auction house. Otherwise, how could the auction be held normally? He believed that opening an auction house would at least have the guts to go against the Clearwater Pavilion. Otherwise, it would be too disappointing. Soon, Long Yu stepped into the auction house and saw Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu waiting for him. Their slender figures attracted the attention of most of the people nearby, making them feel a little uneasy. "Let's go and look for the manager here." Long Yu greeted them and took the two women inside the auction venue. At this time, the auction hall was still in the process of being set up in preparation for tomorrow's auction. Of course, the auction house manager was also here to prepare. "Sir, the auction will only begin tomorrow morning. It's not open today." Long Yu and the two girls arrived at the entrance of the auction house. Two martial cultivator guards stopped them and explained, "I want to see your manager. It's about 10,000 arts mysterious leaf." Long Yu said calmly, 10,000 laws mysterious leaf. The two martial cultivators on guard were stunned for a moment before they nodded and said, "Guest, please wait for a moment. I will go and report to Manager Zhang." After saying that, one of them turned around and ran towards the auction hall to report. Since it was about 10,000 arts mysterious leaf, the two guards didn't dare to be careless. No matter what, they had to inform the manager first. Another reason was that they saw that Long Yu's temperament was extraordinary, so of course they didn't dare to offend him. Not long after, the martial cultivator guard led a middle-aged man wearing a brown robe out of the trading hall. He saw Long Yu and the two women at a glance. "It's you guys who have something to do with 10,000 arts mysterious leaf?" The middle-aged man in brown robe had a look of impatience in his eyes. These days, there were too many martial cultivators who came to ask about 10,000 arts mysterious leaf. He had seen no less than 10 waves. The reason why he could come out to see Long Yu was because of his duty. In order to auction the most valuable item in this auction, 10,000 arts mysterious leaf, for a good price, he didn't dare to ignore all the martial cultivators who came to ask about 10,000 arts mysterious leaf. This was an order given to Manager Zhang by the auction house. Of course, he didn't dare to disobey. However, in his eyes, there was still an obvious look of impatience, especially when he saw that Long Yu and the two girls were still so young. It didn't matter if they were young. The most important thing was that he had never seen these three people before. In other words, these three people weren't people from Death Soldier City. If they were outsiders within 1,000 miles, there wasn't a city that could compare to the scale of Death Soldier City. These three youngsters, did they really have the capital to ask about 10,000 arts mysterious leaf? That's right, Manager Zhang. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. He didn't care too much about the other party's attitude. He straightforwardly said, "I came here to ask if it's possible to sell that 10,000 arts mysterious leaf to us directly, without going through an auction." These words made Steward Zhang laugh out loud. "Little brother, did you come all the way here just to tell such a joke? Whether it's a joke or not, you know it in your heart." Long Yu shook his head and said, "I just want to ask you, if this 10,000 arts mysterious leaf is auctioned normally, how much can it be sold for? 50 crystal cores? 60 crystal cores?" These two prices were the normal price of the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf. Although this medicinal ingredient was very rare, there weren't many people who actually needed it. For someone to be able to buy it at this price in the auction, it was already quite good for the auction house. "So what?" Manager Zhang lightly said. "Even if it's 50 to 60 crystal cores, that's the result of the auction. If you want to buy it directly, don't tell me you can give me 100 crystal cores." 100 crystal cores for the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf was definitely a sky-high price. This had already reached double the true value of the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf. If someone dared to bid, he, Manager Zhang, would certainly dare to sell it. But the problem was, he didn't believe that this youngster in front of him could take out so many crystal cores. One must know that 100 crystal cores, even if their entire auction house worked hard for a year or two, they still wouldn't be able to earn that much profit. Seeing the faint disdain hanging in Manager Zhang's eyes, Long Yu didn't care. He just straightforwardly took out 100 crystal cores from his bosom. "It's not that I can't give you 100 crystal cores. The key is still whether you want to sell it or not." If the other party was willing to sell, it was of course a good thing for Long Yu. It could save a lot of time and a lot of trouble. Of course, this would certainly have a great impact on the reputation of the auction house. But this had nothing to do with Long Yu. The first thing he had to do was to guarantee himself. As for the auction house, what did it have to do with him? It all depended on whether this manager Zhang had the guts to sell it to him. 100 crystal cores, dozens of crystal cores appearing out of thin air, made the brown-robed manager Zhang swallow a mouthful of saliva. This was really too tempting. Who would have thought that this youngster in front of him was actually so rich and overbearing? It was really amazing. However, manager Zhang himself couldn't make the decision. Little brother, I'll go and ask the higher-ups first. Please wait here. I'll be right back. Manager Zhang smiled respectfully, then turned around and with a straight face, shouted to the surrounding attendants. Why aren't you leading these 3 esteemed guests to a private room to rest and pour a pot of good tea? The attendants hurriedly ran over, preparing to lead Long Yu and the other 2 to a private room. Those who were qualified to sit in a private room were all important people in the entire parish soldier city. Now that this youngster was so rich and overbearing that he took out 100 crystal cores, he definitely had the right to sit in a private room. Long Yu and the 2 ladies went to the auction house's private room and sat down. Very quickly, attendants attentively served tea and snacks. The service was extremely attentive. This auction house seems to be not bad. That manager Zhang really knows how to conduct himself. Lu Yuan smiled slightly. She was very satisfied with the auction house's service. It's hard to say now, Long Yu said in a low voice. As the saying goes, don't show off your wealth. We're outsiders, and our martial realm isn't high, but we have so many crystal cores on us. This auction house might have some evil intentions. That shouldn't be the case, right? This auction house is one of the best in Parish Soldier City. They shouldn't be so shameless. Lu Yuan was a little surprised. However, Long Yu shook his head. Lu Yuan had never experienced the sinister side of people, so she probably didn't understand. In fact, the only reason why the auction house didn't dare to make a move was because they were afraid that they had someone backing them. After all, who would believe that a kid at the 6th level of the true spirit realm could take out 100 crystal cores without anyone backing him? In short, they had to be careful, otherwise they would make a huge mistake. Although Long Yu was in the private room, his mind had already drifted to the auction house. Just now, when he looked in from the entrance, he saw that many auction items were exquisitely sealed and placed backstage. If the other party really had some evil intentions, Long Yu had to think of another way. Parish Soldier City was not some other place, and Long Yu couldn't fly around as he pleased like he did in the North Seaborder City. After all, there were Heaven Realm experts here, and they couldn't let him do as he pleased. He could only take it one step at a time. Long Yu thought in his heart. Soon, Manager Zhang's voice came from outside the private room. From the sound of footsteps, there were many other people walking with him. 3 esteemed guests, sorry to keep you waiting. Our auction house has agreed to sell the 10,000 law mysterious leaf to you for 100 crystal cores. Manager Zhang's voice came from outside the private room. Come in, Long Yu said aloud. Following his words, the door of the private room was pushed open, and then a murderous aura came in from outside. This murderous aura made Long Yu feel that something was wrong. Let's go. Without thinking, Long Yu lifted the table with one hand and threw it towards the door of the private room. Then, carrying Lu Yuan in one hand and Shi Yingwu in the other, he stretched out the black wings on his back and without hesitation, he smashed open the window of the private room and flew out. Don't let him get away. A stern shout came from outside the private room, and then the table was smashed by a huge force. Several martial cultivators in the 9th level of the true spirit realm, dressed in black and wearing black masks, rushed in. They saw that Long Yu wanted to leave the window with the 2 girls, and each of them revealed a sinister smile and used their martial skills to chase after him. Originally, they thought that Long Yu wanted to escape by jumping out the window. If that was the case, with their martial skills, they could easily catch up to Long Yu. But soon, they found out that they were wrong. After Long Yu jumped out of the window with the 2 girls, he flew straight up into the sky and disappeared from their line of sight in a short while. This kid, he is a flying combat soldier. Manager Zhang walked to the window of the private room with a black face and raised his head to look at the sky. He had miscalculated. The duck that was in his hands had flown away just like that. How was he going to explain this to the higher-ups? If he couldn't even handle such a small matter, he might not be able to keep his position as manager. Go and investigate. Manager Zhang immediately ordered, and at the same time, he knew that he had to be fully prepared. Chapter 277. Long Yu brought the two girls and flew away from the auction house. Soon, they returned to the trading plaza of Fallen Soldier City and quietly landed in a small alley. This is too infuriating. I didn't expect the auction house to be so greedy. Lu Yuan's face was full of resentment. It's more or less what I expected. Since they are so heartless, there's no need for me to talk to them about morality. Long Yu narrowed his eyes. Even if the other party said that they didn't want to sell the profound law leaf and let him participate in the auction tomorrow, he wouldn't have any objections. After all, the auction house did indeed have principles to follow. However, the other party actually sent people to kill and rob. Who could tolerate such behavior? Since the other party was like this, there was no need for Long Yu to say anything more. Long Yu was determined to get the profound law leaf. Since the other party refused to sell, he would take it by force. No matter what, he had to get his hands on it. Let's go to the trading plaza first. Lu Yuan, you go with Xiao Wu and Tian Yutian. Quietly leave the city and meet up with Elder Shi. Long Yu quickly made a plan in his heart. Before coming here, Elder Shi had told him to leave Fallen Soldier City after getting the two herbs and meet up at a lake outside the city. Now that the profound law leaf was not in his hands yet, and it was difficult to get it, Long Yu wanted Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu to leave first and meet up with Tian Yutian, who had the golden essence fruit. As for Long Yu himself, he used some tricks to get the profound law leaf. Lu Yuan didn't have any objections, and Shi Yingwu, of course, didn't have any objections. Soon, the three of them returned to the trading plaza in the center of Fallen Soldier City and found a handsome young man, Tian Yutian. Brother Tian, these two are my friends. The alchemist I mentioned is Xiao Wu's grandfather. Long Yu pointed to Shi Yingwu and then said to Tian Yutian, now, she will bring you to meet up with her grandfather. During this journey, you must protect them. Brother Long, don't worry. Tian Yutian nodded solemnly. For the sake of his brother, Lu Xiao, Tian Yutian would never have any ill intentions towards Shi Yingwu and Lu Yuan. If they were to encounter any danger, Tian Yutian would definitely risk his life to protect them. The four of them took the block of ice that froze Lu Xiao and quickly left the trading square. After that, they quickly wandered around Fallen Soldier City a few times and soon got rid of everyone who was following them. Tian Yutian, along with the ice cube, Lu Yuan, and Shi Yingwu, quietly left through a small city gate. In this way, only the city guards of Soldier Demise City would know of their whereabouts. The city guards of Soldier Demise City were rather impartial, so they would not pass on the information to the Clearwater Pavilion and other merchant associations in the city. As for Long Yu, he had completely hidden himself in Soldier Demise City. Neither the Clearwater Pavilion nor the auction house's general manager Zhang could find any news of him. Night fell. Long Yu quietly came to the vicinity of the auction house and saw a group of tyrannical martial cultivators guarding it. Among them, there seemed to be the assassins in black who wanted to kill him during the day. These people were all experts in the 9th level of the true spirit realm. With Long Yu's strength, he would definitely not be able to fight against them. However, Long Yu's goal this time was not to deal with these people, but to get his hands on the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf. They clearly know that I need the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf, and they announced in such a high-profile manner that they want to auction it. It is very likely that this thing is not in this auction house. Long Yu hid in the dark and narrowed his eyes. If he wanted to know where the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf was kept, he had to ask the internal members of the auction house. Otherwise, the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf would definitely be kept as a precious treasure. Even if there was an abundance of spiritual qi, it would not be easily found. Could it be that he had to catch someone from the auction house and interrogate them? However, if it's not a person of high status and power, they would definitely not know where the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf is kept. However, a person of high status and power would definitely have an extremely high martial arts realm, at least the same as Manager Zhang, who has reached the 9th level of the true spirit realm. This put Long Yu in a difficult position. It seemed that he could only use the secret technique derived from the 9 underworld dragon seal. Due to the appearance of the ancient consciousness, Long Yu had a subconscious resistance towards the 9 underworld dragon seal. Therefore, he did not want to use some of the secret techniques derived from it. But now, it seemed that he had no choice but to use it. It's just a spirit-seeking technique. It shouldn't have too strong of a side effect, Long Yu thought in his heart. This spirit-seeking technique was a secret technique that was used to sense the density of the spiritual qi in the surroundings. It was extremely effective in searching for treasures. More than half a year ago, he was misunderstood by the old man, Dust Crane Pine, and was seriously injured by a palm strike, causing him to fall down the waterfall. At that time, when he was unconscious, a lot of memories of the 9 underworld tribe appeared in his mind. Among them was the teaching of the spirit-seeking technique. It said that when this spirit-seeking technique is executed, its effect can shock the heavens and the earth and make gods weep. It allows me to clearly see the distribution of the spiritual qi in the surroundings with a single glance. I wonder if it's true. Long Yu thought in his heart as he hid in the shadows. He directly started to condense the profound energy in his body according to the method in his memories and prepared to execute the spirit-seeking technique. Because this was only a secret technique, it only involved the application of profound energy. Thus, there was no need to comprehend anything, and he could execute it as long as he had the method. It didn't need to be comprehended like a martial technique from beginner to initial mastery, and then to advanced mastery. Not long after, Long Yu felt that his eyes were covered in a layer of strange 9 underworld qi, and through this layer of 9 underworld qi, the entire world that he looked out into had really changed greatly. Gray mist floated in midair that was usually empty. This mist was undoubtedly the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth that had a comparatively low density. Ordinary people were unable to see the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth with the naked eye. But after Long Yu executed this spirit-seeking technique, he was able to see the existence of the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth. There doesn't seem to be any side effects. Long Yu's heart was constantly on guard. However, after a while, nothing happened, causing him to gradually relax. He looked around and saw that the entire Soldier Demise city was almost completely gray. This showed that the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth was not abundant in the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth. However, in his line of sight, he could occasionally see spots of light of other colors appearing on the gray. These spots of light went from light to dark, which represented the density of the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth. The different colors represented the nature of the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth. In fact, the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth was similar to the attributes of the herbs. It was divided into the 5 attributes of gold, wood, water, fire, and earth. However, to ordinary martial cultivators, all the attributes of the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth could be absorbed, so there was no need to separate them. There are indeed many of these spots of light in the auction house. It seems that there are quite a lot of good stuff. Long Yu saw that in the auction house, the spots of light that represented the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth appeared one after another, which represented the elixirs that were filled with rich spiritual qi of the heaven and earth. In a restaurant behind the auction house, there was an extremely conspicuous golden spot of light, which immediately attracted Long Yu's attention. Golden spot of light. It's the gathering of the spiritual qi of the heaven and earth with the gold attribute. According to the brightness, it's at least of the same level as the golden essence fruit. Could it be the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts? Long Yu's heart skipped a beat. The mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts indeed contained the medicinal properties of the metal attribute. The spiritual qi of the heaven and earth that it contained was also of the metal attribute. This gave Long Yu an idea, and he quickly stopped using the spirit-seeking technique. He was really afraid that there would be side effect from using this secret technique. However, it seemed that everything was fine now. Everything in his line of sight returned to normal, and he looked towards the restaurant behind the auction house. However, he saw that the restaurant had not yet closed for the day. At this time, there were quite a few Martial Cultivator customers who were drinking and having fun inside. It was extremely joyous. With a single glance, Long Yu couldn't tell who the owner of the restaurant was. However, this wasn't important to him. In any case, he only needed to obtain the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts that he needed. Manager Zhang, you expected that I would return because of the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts, but you absolutely didn't expect that I would find the location of the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts in one glance. Long Yu's eyes were filled with mockery. In the vicinity of the auction house, there were countless experts hidden. Once Long Yu appeared, even if he had wings, he wouldn't be able to escape. There was nowhere to escape. However, the restaurant that stored the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts didn't have any tight security, because absolutely no one would know that they stored the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts in that restaurant. The mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts was stored in an extremely valuable special wooden box, which was able to prevent the spiritual qi of the medicinal herb from leaking out to the outside. It was absolutely impossible for others to sense it. However, Long Yu, through the spirit-seeking technique, found the location of the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts in one glance. This, who would have thought of it? Since he knew the location of the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts. Next, Long Yu would use his methods to take revenge on Manager Zhang, as well as the people from the auction house. Who asked you to face a customer and actually want to kill a customer and plunder their money? A dignified auction house actually had evil intentions at the sight of wealth. If this were to spread out, it would undoubtedly make people laugh their teeth off. As for Long Yu, he was lucky that he could fly. Otherwise, he would have died long ago. The enmity of taking his life. How could he not take revenge? Right now, Long Yu only wanted to take away one of the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts, which was already very magnanimous. From the position of that ball of golden light, just now, the mysterious leaf of 10,000 arts is stored in the basement of this restaurant. Wanting to enter it without making a sound would be very difficult. Hiding in the dark, Long Yu narrowed his eyes and quickly thought of a way. He quietly went to the back of the restaurant and ignited the base of the restaurant. At the same time, he shouted at the top of his voice, "Fire! Fire! Someone come and put out the fire." As soon as this voice came out, it was accompanied by an astonishing flame that burned at the back of the restaurant. Immediately, everyone in the restaurant was surprised. Fire? What's a big deal about a fire? Among the people here, who has cultivated a water-type martial skill, please go and put out the fire. Most of the people were calm and composed. They didn't even look at the fire behind them. If there was a fire in this place, any martial cultivator who had cultivated a water-type martial skill could easily put it out. But before they could react, the entire restaurant shook. "Earthquake! Earthquake! Quickly run!" Accompanied by a burst of exclamations, the martial cultivators in the restaurant were slightly moved. Although an earthquake, for experts who had a certain level of martial arts, was not a big disaster, it was still a very troublesome thing. The fire had not yet been extinguished, but the earthquake had already continued. Chapter 278. In fact, the earthquake in this restaurant was completely caused by Long Yu alone. With a thought, he mobilized his profound qi, attracting the 9 underworld's qi to gather under the ground, and violently attacked under the restaurant, creating an illusion of an earthquake. When everyone in the restaurant was in chaos, Long Yu took the opportunity to punch a passage to the basement, sneaked in, and took away an incomparably exquisite and valuable wooden box. It's the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf. Long Yu directly opened the wooden box, and a burst of rich medicinal fragrance hid his face. A long and narrow leaf overflowing with light appeared in his eyes. Immediately after, he closed the wooden box, threw it into the 9 underworld space, and returned to the ground with the fastest speed. He didn't pay attention to the restaurant that was in a mess, but directly mobilized the lunar wings, displaying the dragon sparrow dance. The wings quickly spread out, bringing him up into the sky. Long-Yu's pair of black wings were not conspicuous in the dark, and almost no one was able to find any trace of him. Something happened in this restaurant, and the auction house's bodyguards didn't make any movements. Obviously, they don't know that the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf is placed in the basement of this restaurant. Long-Yu succeeded, and the corner of his mouth slightly curled up. Obviously, the other party was also afraid that there was some big shot behind Long-Yu, and forcibly captured their people to interrogate them. Now, even their own people didn't know where the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf was. How could they interrogate them? Unfortunately, no one would have thought that in this world, there was actually someone who knew the spirit-seeking technique. Unbeknownst to anyone, Long-Yu took away the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf. By the time the people from the auction house found out, Long-Yu had already disappeared, and these people couldn't even find out who took away the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf. Since you guys want to take advantage of me, then I won't be polite. With an extremely fast speed, Long-Yu disappeared into the night sky. Snatching other people's things was indeed not righteous. But who asked the other party to do such a heartless thing first? Long-Yu snatched away the 10,000 law mysterious leaf, but he didn't feel even the slightest bit of guilt. Not long after, Long-Yu flew out of Death Soldier City and headed towards the place where he had agreed to meet Pine Crane. He decided to wait for Pine Crane there, in Fallen Soldier City. Before dawn, there were already people standing guard at the City Lord's mansion, preparing to report a major event to the City Lord. The 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf that was going to be auctioned today was unexpectedly stolen by a mysterious person in the middle of the night, without anyone knowing. This was a big deal. One had to know that the auction that would be held the next day would not only be attended by many families and forces in Soldier's Demise City, but also representatives of many sects and forces in the North Sea Kingdom. If the 10,000 law profound leaf couldn't be taken out at that time, wouldn't it be a loss of face for Parish Soldier City? Therefore, Steward Zhang of the auction house personally came to the entrance of the City Lord mansion to report this matter to the City Lord. However, everyone knew that the city governor was cultivating at night. Not to mention a mere Steward Zhang. Even the real backer of the auction house would not dare to disturb the city governor of Soldier City. Steward Zhang, who was wearing a brown robe, was very helpless. He could only stand at the entrance of the City Lord mansion and wait for the night to pass. Although it was only a little less than half of the night. This little less than half of the night was the most difficult period of Steward Zhang's life. The 10,000 law profound leaf was one of the most precious things that he had ever handled in his life. Such a thing was lost. How could he not be anxious? After waiting for thousands of times, he finally waited until dawn and got the opportunity to enter the City Lord mansion to report this matter. After a long time, when Steward Zhang came out of the City Lord mansion, an expression of relief appeared on his face. Finally, the City Lord had agreed to deal with this matter. What made Steward Zhang most excited was that the City Lord had actually seen what happened last night and clearly knew where the other party had gone. With the City Lord taking action, there definitely won't be a problem. I thought that my life was over. Steward Zhang was so scared that he broke out in a cold sweat. If this matter really couldn't be investigated, with his little ability, he would definitely be pushed out by the upper management of the auction house to be a scapegoat, and then he would never have a chance to make a comeback in this life. Now that he had the help of the City Lord, he could finally breathe a sigh of relief. Long-Yu didn't know that Steward Zhang of the auction house actually had the cheek to ask the City Lord of Soldier Death City for help. He flew all the way out of the city, and just as the sun rose, he saw the lake where he had agreed to meet with Dusk Cranepine. The ripples were clear, and the water was sparkling. This was a very large lake. Long-Yu was flying hundreds of feet high in the sky, but he couldn't see the edge of the lake at a glance. There were countless lakes like this in North Sea country, and this was only a slightly more special one. Because this lake's edge was crooked, it was exactly like the word dance, so it was called Dancing Lake, and it was quite famous in North Sea country. However, at this moment, he suddenly felt a sense of danger from afar, quickly approaching. Could be a sneak attack. Long Yu's expression changed greatly. He was now flying hundreds of feet high in the sky, and the only person who could attack him was an immortal realm expert who could also fly. However, when he turned his head, he did not see anyone else in the sky. Instead, there seemed to be a few people chasing after him on the ground. One of them had a longbow on his back. He pulled the bow to the fullest and shot an arrow that made Long Yu's heart palpitate. It's someone from the 10,000 Arrow sect. Long Yu frowned slightly. How did the people from the 10,000 Arrow sect find his tracks? If it was a coincidence, then it was too much of a coincidence. Most importantly, among the disciples of the 10,000 Arrow sect, there was actually an expert at the 9th level of the true spirit realm, and the one who shot the arrow was this expert. Long Yu was definitely not a match for an expert of this level. Chi Tianpeng. Long Yu looked over and saw that among the 7 or 8 people for the 10,000 Arrow sect, other than the strongest, the rest were all rank 7 or rank 8 true spirit martial cultivators. Among them, there was Chi Tianpeng, who Long Yu had not been able to kill before. Long Yu had killed Kai Xinji, but Chi Tianpeng did not have the time to pay attention to him, allowing him to escape with his life. He never thought that he would meet them again here. Furthermore, the other party had called for quite a few helpers, including experts from the rank 9 true spirit. However, the target of this arrow doesn't seem to be right. As Long Yu flew forward, he was a little puzzled. The target of the rank 9 true spirit 10,000 Arrow sect disciple was clearly Long Yu, but the arrow he shot out was flying forward calmly. This was a long shot, not a high shot. This guy, what's going on? Just as Long Yu was unable to figure out, his entire body suddenly trembled. At this moment, he finally saw that the arrow that the other party shot out, which made his heart palpitate, was actually aimed at the shadow that he had left behind by the morning sun. No matter how high he flew, he would always be illuminated by the sun and leave a shadow on the ground. And the other party's arrow made Long Yu unable to react at all and hit his shadow on the ground. Shadow, binding god, arrow. Chi Tianpeng laughed from below. Senior brother Qiong, this arrow is simply too wonderful. I want to see how this brat will escape this time. The shadow, binding god arrow was a spirit-level, transcendent grade martial skill of the 10,000 Arrow sect. Once the arrow hit the opponent's shadow, it would make the opponent unable to move. Used to deal with people who were not familiar with the 10,000 Arrow sect's martial skills. This move was very useful. This was because no one would have thought that they would actually target their own shadow. The rank 9 true spirit expert, who was called Senior Brother Qiong, was a 40-year-old middle-aged man. Hearing this, he had a proud look on his face. Of course, don't you see that Senior Brother has already cultivated this shadow, binding god arrow to the large success realm? Even if this brat is mixed in with the cloud shadows, he can forget about escaping from this arrow of mine. Following his words, Long Yu, who was flying in the sky, suddenly froze. It was as if his entire body was bound, and he couldn't even struggle at all. Quickly look, that brat is about to fall. Ha! Senior Brother Qiong, you've done a great service this time, taking revenge for Junior Brother Kai Xinji. Chi Tianpeng laughed as he pointed at Long Yu, who was falling down. There was no need to mention how proud he was. Revenge is a happy matter, but don't forget that the most important thing for us is to obtain all the secrets on this brat's body and report it back to the sect. The middle-aged man, Senior Brother Qiong, lightly said, "Don't forget, the elders have heard your report on this person and are very interested in him." Of course. With Senior Brother Qiong here, everything will be decided by Senior Brother. Chi Tianpeng immediately flattered him. The meaning behind his words was that Senior Brother Qiong could directly take away some of the things on this brat's body, and he, Chi Tianpeng, wouldn't say a single word. Even if the sect elders asked, he would help hide it. The group of 10,000 Arrow sect disciples that followed were all trusted aides of Senior Brother Qiong, so they naturally wouldn't say much. All of their gazes were focused on Long Yu, who was in the air. They watched as he flapped his wings crookedly and gradually descended to the ground from the sky. There's actually such a martial skill. Long Yu felt that he was the same as the shadow on the ground, bound by the arrow. He couldn't help but clench his teeth tightly. However, no matter how he resisted, he was unable to break free from the arrow's restraints on his shadow. That shadow binding god arrow was shot by an expert of the rank 9 true spirit. With Long Yu's current strength, he was still far from being able to break it. After being bound by the shadow binding god arrow, Long Yu felt that the profound qi in his body had been completely sealed, and he was unable to use any of it. Of course, he was unable to use any martial skills. The pitch-black dragon sparrow wings behind him quickly disappeared, leaving only the pair of lunar wings that were still tossing and turning. If it was in the past, Long Yu didn't need to use the lunar wings to fly with Long Yu. It would be impossible for him to fall from the sky like this. But now, he had a conflict with the lunar wings. The lunar wings naturally weren't willing to save him. After all, he killed the Soaring Sky tribe's Ghost Valley envoy, Zegon, and even sold his corpse to human cultivators. Because of this, the lunar wings kept tossing and turning. At one moment, they wanted to fly with Long Yu, but at the same time, they were extremely resistant to it. Not long after, Long Yu was about to fall to the shore of the dancing lake and be captured by the group of 10,000 Arrow Sect disciples. But Long Yu wasn't worried. This was because he had already seen a few people running towards him together. 2 of them were very familiar. They were the white-haired Lu Yuan and the little girl, Sunset Dance. Chapter 279. Long Yu narrowed his eyes, guessing inwardly, does Tian Yutian dare to go against the myriad Arrow Sect? If Tian Yutian didn't dare to go against the myriad Arrow Sect, then it wouldn't be just Long Yu. Even Lu Yuan and Sunset Dance wouldn't be able to escape from the myriad Arrow Sect's disciples. Tian Yutian wouldn't be able to save his brother, Lu Xiao. But if he really went against the 10,000 Arrows Sect, Tian Yutian wouldn't be able to continue cultivating in the North Sea Nation. He might even be targeted by the 10,000 Arrows Sect and be shot to death. Long Yu didn't know what choice Tian Yutian would make. However, he already had an answer in his heart. How could a young man who was willing to sell the adamantine fruit for his brother's life back down at this time? There was a loud bang. Long Yu fell from a great height and landed heavily on the ground. The violent impact caused his body to flicker with lightning, helping him resist the impact of the fall. Long Yu, who had achieved the Thunderbolt body, wasn't injured at all when he fell from a great height. However, his shadow was still firmly bound by that shadow binding divine arrow, causing his entire body to be unable to move at all. Quick, go and capture him. Senior brother Yu Qiong from the 10,000 Arrows Sect ordered with a faint smile on his face. Qi Tianpeng and the others immediately rushed toward Long Yu. However, they soon discovered that they were not the first batch of people to reach Long Yu's side. Brother, who are you? Qi Tianpeng took the lead and couldn't wait to capture Long Yu. However, he realized that a handsome young man was already blocking Long Yu's way. His face darkened. The 10,000 Arrows Sect is handling a matter. You're just a nobody. Get lost. The person next to Qi Tianpeng didn't care that Tian Yutian was in the rank 9 true spirit realm and wanted to use the 10,000 Arrows Sect to suppress him. Unfortunately, Qi Tianpeng said, "This guy is in cahoots with Long Yu. Let senior brother Qiong deal with him. Besides, aren't there 2 beauties for us to enjoy?" As Qi Tianpeng spoke, he glanced at Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu, who were standing behind Tian Yutian. His eyes flashed with an evil glint. Courting death. Tian Yutian snorted coldly when he saw the perverted looks in their eyes. He had spent some time with Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu, so of course he had some understanding of them. Shi Yangwu's innocent personality made him feel a little protective of her. At this moment, how could Tian Yutian suppress the anger in his heart when he saw these people from the myriad Arrow Sect acting so unscrupulously? Purple light domain. Tian Yutian snorted coldly and raised his hand. A burst of purple light flashed from his back and spread out in all directions. The purple light domain was a domain power cultivated by comprehending the purple light law. It was a type of heavenly steel law. It's the heavenly steel law. We're done for. Chi Tianpeng and the others felt the power in the purple light, and their expressions changed drastically. Their mood instantly turned from bad to gloomy. The heavenly steel law was an earth seal law. It was something that almost all martial cultivators on the heavenly mandate continent pursued. Being able to comprehend a heavenly steel law meant that one had the ability to fight against several martial cultivators of the same level. It was no wonder that this person had the ability to snatch the golden essence fruit from a powerful demonic beast with his brother Lucio. Even so, Lucio's heart meridian had been shattered. This showed how difficult it was to obtain a rare medicinal herb like the golden essence fruit. The moment the purple light domain appeared, Chi Tianping and the others immediately wanted to retreat. They knew that the handsome young man before them was not someone they could deal with. Even senior brother Qiong would not be a match for this guy. Heart-piercing arrow rain. At that instant, senior brother Yu Qiong, who had been hiding at the back, finally unleashed his true longbow and executed a superior spiritual martial skill. In an instant, thousands of arrows poured down on Tian Yutian like a torrential downpour. Long Yu had seen this move before. Now that it was being used by senior brother Qiong of the rank 9 True Spirit Realm, he would definitely not be able to withstand it. However, it was a piece of cake for Tian Yutian. Tomb of Purple Light. Tian Yutian's eyes flickered. With a wave of his hand, a tombstone formed from purple light shot out from the ground and instantly grew in size. The tombstone condensed from purple light completely blocked the heart-piercing rain of arrows. Moreover, even after blocking thousands of arrows, it was still not damaged in the slightest. Long Yu could not help but cheer for Tian Yutian when he saw this. He had a deeper understanding of Tian Yutian's strength. If I can become one with the true spirit and step into the rank 7 True Spirit Realm, I'll definitely be able to deal with ordinary rank 9 True Spirit experts, such as senior brother Qiong from the 10,000 Arrows sect. However, I'm still not strong enough to deal with an expert at Tian Yutian's level. Experts in the rank 9 True Spirit Realm were divided into several levels, and there was a huge difference between them. Once one reached the Celestial Being Realm, even the weakest Celestial Being Realm martial cultivator would be stronger than the strongest rank 9 True Spirit expert. In the entire Heavenly Mandate continent, there had never been a rank 9 True Spirit martial cultivator who could kill a Celestial Being Realm martial cultivator. Trying to run? A cold light flashed in Tian Yutian's eyes. He raised his hand, and the tombstone formed from purple light flew up. Like a mountain, it smashed down on Chi Tianpeng, senior brother Qiong, and the others who were running away. With a loud bang, the tombstone smashed down on everyone from the 10,000 Arrows sect and crushed them to the ground. Within the purple light, blood splattered everywhere. It was obvious that the disciples of the 10,000 Arrows sect were all dead. At the same time, Long Yu finally felt that he was free. With the death of senior brother Qiong, he felt the pressure on his body disappear, and he jumped up. Brother Long, I didn't expect you to be able to fly out. What a surprise. Tian Yutian dealt with the people from the 10,000 Arrows sect as if they were flies. He didn't care about them at all and turned to smile at Long Yu. Even though Tian Yutian had comprehended the laws of the Purple Light Heavenly Tablet and possessed power beyond that of an ordinary rank 9 True Spirit cultivator, it was still impossible for him to fly unless he could break through the bottleneck and become one with nature. However, he didn't know how long that would take. Brother Tian, you've actually mastered the laws of the Heavenly Tablet. Isn't that surprising as well? Long Yu smiled and patted the dust off his clothes. He turned around and said, By the way, aren't you afraid that the 10,000 Arrows sect will find trouble with you? I've always disliked the 10,000 Arrows sect. I didn't attack them just for you. Tian Yutian spread his hands and smiled. My brother Lucio and I once wanted to join the 10,000 Arrows sect, but they looked down on us and rejected us. Although the 10,000 Arrows sect is a large sect in the North Sea Kingdom, it's becoming more and more corrupt. I see. Long Yu smiled too. It was obvious that Tian Yutian and Lucio had been bullied by the people of the 10,000 Arrows sect when they tried to join the 10,000 Arrows sect. By the way, when will the senior pill alchemist arrive? Tian Yutian changed the topic. In a few days. It won't take long. Long Yu said. As a matter of fact, Pine Crane had agreed to meet him today, but to prevent any accidents, he did not say that he would arrive today, but in the next few days. This was to prevent Tian Yutian from deceiving him if Dusk Crane Pine didn't show up. That wouldn't be good. Let's wait here for a few days. Tian Yutian nodded. Following that, the group began to move. They dragged the corpses of the 7 disciples of the 10,000 Arrows sect and tossed them into the lake. There were places to dispose of corpses in the North Sea Kingdom. Therefore, from time to time, corpses would appear in the lakes and rivers of the North Sea Kingdom. The people of the North Sea Kingdom were used to this. After disposing of the corpses, Long Yu did not get anything good from them. The disciples of the 10,000 Arrows sect seemed to be very poor. They rarely carried weapons with them. As for money, they only had a few thousand crystal coins, which was nothing to Long Yu. That auctioneer's actions have saved me 100 crystal cores, Long Yu thought to himself. Long Yu, how is it? Did you get the mysterious leaf of 10,000 laws? Lu Yuan asked after disposing of the corpses of the 10,000 Arrows sect disciples. Got it. Long Yu smiled faintly. That's good. That auction house's actions are too infuriating. Shi Yingwu said resentfully. They came to ask if they could buy something out of goodwill. If they didn't want to sell, then so be it. In the end, they sent assassins to kill them. What a shameless bandit. Tian Yutian had also heard about this from the 2 girls. At this moment, he nodded and said, that immortal treasure auction house, relying on the fact that it was opened by a big family in Soldier Demise City, has always been so unyielding. Many martial cultivators have suffered from it. Brother Long was actually able to take the mysterious leaf of 10,000 laws from them. Amazing, amazing. Brother Tian, you flatter me. As Long Yu spoke, he frowned slightly. He turned around and looked in the direction of Parish Soldier City. He saw a group of martial cultivators in green robes rushing towards him from the grassy plains. Long Yu seemed to have seen this kind of clothing before. Weren't they the people from the Clear Water Pavilion in Soldier Demise City? These people are also coming for us. Tian Yutian frowned slightly. He turned around and stood in front of Long Yu and the others. I'll deal with them. This group of people seems to be led by 3 people from the rank 9 True Spirit. Brother Tian, are you confident? Long Yu narrowed his eyes. It shouldn't be a problem, but what about the others? What home? Huan. Pai Ji was stunned. Forgive. Tian Yutian said. What about the rest? Ji Qin, 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 miscellaneous animals? This responsibility? To serve the king of the gods. Chapter 280. There were a total of 12 people rushing over from the Clear Water Pavilion. 3 of them were rank 9 True Spirit experts, followed by 4 rank 8 True Spirit experts and 5 rank 7 True Spirit experts. Even in Fallen Soldier City, such a force could be considered quite powerful. For the Clearwater Pavilion to send such a large group of people to deal with Tian Yutian and Long Yu, it was clear that they were quite fearful of Tian Yutian. The power of the Purple Light Heavenly Tablets laws was not a joke. Ordinary rank 9 True Spirit cultivators were definitely not Tian Yutian's match. Since they're all here, wouldn't it be better for us to make the first move? Tian Yutian laughed and stepped forward, taking the initiative to welcome the group of people from the Clearwater Pavilion. Although Long Yu didn't know how the other party had chased them all the way here, at this moment, he could only fight with them. After all, they still had to wait here for the Sunset Crane Pine. If they left, what would they do if they couldn't find him? Furthermore, even if Long Yu could fly and escape, He couldn't bring Tian Yutian and his brother Lucio with him. This battle was destined to happen. Tian Yutian stepped forward, and in a short while, he was within a few dozen meters of his opponent. With a wave of his hand, purple light emitted from his body, dyeing the surrounding space purple. Purple light domain. Tian Yutian shouted, and a purple leopard appeared behind him. This was the true spirit he had condensed. Since he was about to fight 1 against 3, he released his true spirit the moment he met them, increasing the power of the purple light laws. Second bro, and I will hold him back. The rest of you, take care of the rest of the hindrances. The leader of the Clearwater Pavilion had a long and narrow scar on his face. It was obvious that he was a ruthless person, and he instantly made his decision. 2 rank 9 true spirit cultivators delay Tian Yutian. The others deal with Long Yu and the others. The Scar Martial Cultivator also knew that with 2 rank 9 true spirit cultivators like him working together, it would definitely be impossible for them to defeat Tian Yutian. Thus, he planned to let the other rank 9 true spirit cultivator take care of Long Yu and the other hindrances first. Don't even think about it. Tian Yutian bellowed, wanting to bypass him and attack Long Yu. First, he had to ask if his purple light domain agreed to it. However, the Scar Martial Cultivator was prepared for this. Watch out for the battle weapon, Inescapable Net. The Scar Cultivator took out a web-shaped battle weapon, which was emitting a strong spiritual chi. The Heaven and Earth Net was a supreme spirit rank combat weapon, specially prepared by the Clearwater Pavilion to trap Tian Yutian. As soon as the Inescapable Net appeared, it expanded to cover an extremely large area, trapping Tian Yutian within it and preventing him from doing anything else. Taking advantage of this opportunity, a tall and skinny rank 9 true spirit martial cultivator suddenly dashed towards Long Yu's location. Brat, you're dead meat, The tall and skinny martial cultivator walked over with a sinister smile, causing the expressions of Long Yu, Lu Yuan, and Shi Yin Wu to change. Lu Yuan, Xiao Wu retreat. Long Yu said in a deep voice. He knew that if he wanted to block this rank 9 true spirit expert, he could only rely on him, whether it was Lu Yuan or Shi Yin Wu. None of them were his opponent. Long Yu, why don't we leave first? Lu Yuan's face was filled with anxiety. Seeing that Long Yu was alone and was preparing to face a fiendish rank 9 true spirit expert, her heart was filled with worry. No matter what, she didn't want to see anything happen to Long Yu. She didn't want to see Long Yu face such danger alone. No, you guys retreat a bit. Trust me. Long Yu tightly gripped the 9 Abyss Dragon Spear. His palms were covered in sweat. He didn't have any confidence facing a rank 9 true spirit expert alone. But with the current situation, he could only brace himself and face it head on. He only knew that even if he couldn't beat his opponent, he wouldn't be killed in a single move. At least, he could endure for a short period of time. In fact, if Long Yu used his ultimate trump card, the Nether Dragon 9 Explosion, it would not be impossible for him to deal with this person. However, he would have to face being unable to move for an hour after using his martial skill. No matter what, I have to stop this person. Even if I can't move for an hour, so what? Long Yu clenched his teeth and made up his mind. Since Tian Yutian was here, as long as he could take care of this tall and skinny fellow, with Tian Yutian's strength, killing the remaining 2 rank 9 true spirit people would be extremely easy. Stinking brat, are you so scared that you peed your pants? TSK, TSK. The tall and skinny man rushed forward like a gust of wind, laughing sinisterly. Remember my name, Baji. It will be me who will send you to hell. As he spoke, the tall and skinny martial cultivator called Baji held a long sword in one hand and brandished it to form a gale tornado, quickly sweeping towards Long Yu. This gale tornado instantly swept up the surrounding weeds and air. Its momentum was vast, and its power was extremely terrifying. I can't block it. Long Yu's expression changed as he waved his hand to condense a layer of Imperial water screen. As he was near the lake, Long Yu's speed of using this martial skill was very fast. In an instant, A layer of Imperial water screen was condensed, blocking the gale tornado. However, as an expert of the rank 9 true spirit, Baji's basic strength was 8 times stronger than the current long use. Not to mention, a person of the true spirit unity realm was even more compatible with the laws of heaven and earth. The difference in strength between the two sides was simply too great. Awakening Palm of Samsara. Seeing that the gale tornado was about to completely destroy the Imperial water screen, Long Yu punched out, and the power of Samsara wrapped around the gale tornado. However, the difference in martial arts realms was too great, causing the effect of his awakening palm of Samsara to decrease by a lot. He could only weaken the gale tornado by less than 30%. Immediately after, the Imperial water screen was completely shattered, turning into water vapor that dispersed. Underworld barrier. At the last moment, Long Yu waved his hand and condensed a layer of underworld barrier, wanting to block the gale tornado. However, even the underworld barrier was not of much use at this moment. It was shattered by the gale. Long Yu consecutively used 3 martial skills, but he was unable to block the gale tornado. He was instantly swept up by the gale and was sent flying into the air like a kite with its string cut. Long Yu, big brother Long. Behind him, Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu were shocked. They never thought that Long Yu, who had always displayed a strong stance, would actually be so weak. TSK. A mere rank 6 true spirit brat dares to go against me. Baji, only death awaits you. The tall and skinny Baji sneered as he stood proudly with a long sword in his hand. Just by using his most ordinary sword, the Gale Slash, he had completely destroyed Long Yu's defense and sent him flying into the sky. If he was serious, he would have been able to kill this brat in an instant, right? Of course, Baji could also feel that each of Long Yu's 3 consecutive defensive martial skills could weaken his Gale Slash's power by about 20%. For a rank 6 true spirit brat, this was already very rare. No wonder that idiot Jin Xiong died in your hands. Now, I will take revenge for him. Baji laughed sinisterly, and then continued to raise the sword in his hand, wanting to use another Gale Slash to kill Long Yu. However, at this moment, a change occurred in the field. Thunder Divine Charm. Long Yu was sent flying into the air by the gale, but he did not give up on resisting. Although the opponent's Gale Slash was tyrannical to him, it was only a high-grade spirit-level martial skill. After being weakened 3 times in a row, it was simply unable to harm Long Yu's Thunder Tyrant body. If it was an ordinary rank 6 true spirit martial cultivator facing this Gale Slash, they would definitely be either dead or injured. However, Long Yu was completely unharmed. He was only sent flying into the air, and his face did not look good. To Long Yu, face was not worth mentioning at all. With a soft shout, he released the divine charm of the Nightmare Thunder, causing the entire tornado to flicker with lightning and thunder. These dazzling lightning bolts instantly exploded. Baji's expression changed slightly. What was going on? Why did this brat's body emit lightning after being slashed by his Gale Slash? However, taking advantage of the fact that his line of sight was blocked by the lightning and thunder, in the next moment, Long Yu waved his hand and punched out with his Drunken Yellow Springs. 9 Underworld Dragon Fist, Drunken Yellow Springs. The spirit of Yellow Springs and the path of Yellow Springs were unleashed at the same time. The former directly appeared behind Baji, trying to restrain him, while the latter continuously extended out a tornado and arrived in front of Baji in an instant. Drunken Yellow Springs had always been Long Yu's killer move in the past. With a single punch, the opponent would either die or be injured. But now, he knew that with this move, he would not be able to kill Baji or even injure him. Trying to trap me? Baji grinned sinisterly, and the true form of a Gale Blade appeared behind him. The true form of the Gale Blade was casually waved twice, and the newly formed spirit of Yellow Springs and the path of Yellow Springs were completely shattered into pieces, turning into netherworld chi and dissipating. However, Baji did not know that this move was also used by Long Yu to deceive others. 9 underworld dragon explosions. First explosion gained the upper hand. An enraged roar, like that of a dragon from the Yellow Springs, exploded above Baji's head. Following this, a terrifying netherworld chi burst out and encapsulated Baji within it. Everyone, let's kill him. Baji was stunned by the move, causing his head to spin. He endured the noise in his head and immediately let out a roar, signaling the rank 8 and rank 7 true spirit cultivators behind him to make their move. Gale screamed. As for Baji himself, he waved the longsword in his hand and instantly formed a gale barrier that completely blocked the terrifying 9 hell chi. Even though the first explosion of the 9 underworld dragon explosions was terrifying, it did not allow Long Yu to cross 3 layers to kill Baji, who was in the 9th layer true spirit realm. However, Long Yu's attack was not over yet. Seeing a large group of martial cultivators charging at him, Long Yu's eyes flickered coldly as he executed the second explosion of the 9 underworld dragon explosions. Chapter 281. Once he had mastered the lesser success stage of the Nether Dragon 9 explosions, he would be able to unleash the second explosion, the illusionary dragon roar. As Long Yu gathered his mystic chi, another dragon roar exploded beside Baji's ears. The previous dragon roar had caused Baji's head to spin. If he had not reacted quickly enough to execute the gale barrier, he would have died to it. Thus, this dragon roar made Baji tremble in fear. He quickly turned into a gust of wind and retreated as fast as he could. However, little did he know, the second explosion of Long Yu's Nether Dragon 9 explosions had a total of 7 dragon roars, and only one of them was truly destructive. The first dragon roar targeting Baji was only the illusionary dragon roar, a fake roar. The second dragon roar once again resounded through the sky, causing the crowd of martial cultivators charging at Long Yu to back away in bewilderment. They had all seen with their own eyes that after a dragon roar, even the rank 9 true spirit were drenched in sweat and hurriedly retreated. Who would dare to take Baji's place to defend against Long Yu's dragon roars? Haha, impressive. When Tian Yutian saw what was happening, he let out a hearty laugh. He initially thought that Long Yu would not be able to withstand the attack from Baji, a 9th layer true spirit realm cultivator. However, it seemed like he had underestimated this young man named Long Yu. Even though his cultivation was only at the 6th layer true spirit realm, he was able to easily defeat Baji, who was a 9th layer true spirit realm cultivator, and even force Baji to back away in fear. Tian Yutian no longer had to worry about the consequences. He immediately spread his purple light domain into the surroundings. Violet radiant spiritual leopard, break through the heavenly dragnet. Tian Yutian unleashed all his potential. The true spirit of the violet radiant spirit leopard behind him let out a furious roar, and countless rays of purple light condensed into a sharp blade, slashing the inescapable net, leaving countless cracks on it. In the past, when Long Yu was fighting against Kai Shinji, a disciple of the 10,000 Arrows sect, he had used his Supreme Spirit grade combat weapon to defend against Kai Shinji's heart-piercing Arrow Rain and Meteor Arrow. However, these Supreme Spirit grade combat weapons were all destroyed by Kai Shinji. Right now, Tian Yutian's purple light blades were much stronger than Kai Shinji's martial skill. Facing against the Heaven and Earth net, which was also a transcendent spirit grade combat weapon, it was no surprise that they were able to break through it. However, the inescapable net was originally used to trap other people's weapons, so its flexibility and recovery ability were very strong. After being cut by Tian Yutian's purple blades, the inescapable net actually recovered quickly. Baji, what are you doing? Hurry up and get rid of that kid and come help us. The scarred martial cultivator snorted coldly when he saw Baji and his subordinates retreating and urged them on with dissatisfaction. The inescapable net was torn apart time and time again by Tian Yutian, and it was about to collapse. If the 8 blights couldn't deal with Long Yu quickly, they would all die if Tian Yutian managed to escape. This brat is a little strange. Ba Ji broke out in a cold sweat. Even now, his mind was still dizzy, and he was dizzy from the Nether Dragon's 9 explosions. Although he had used the Gale Screen to block the destructive power of the Nether Dragon's 9 explosions, his mental state had become extremely bad. He was like a frightened bird, and when he heard the dragon's roar, his heart subconsciously jumped. Nether Dragon's 9 explosions, illusory dragon's roar, the second sound. Long Yu's eyes were filled with killing intent. Facing a rank 9 true spirit, facing many rank 8 true spirit and rank 7 true spirit experts, he did not have any intention of retreating. Instead, he became more and more courageous as he fought. As he took a step forward, the third dragon's roar was like spring thunder, exploding in everyone's ears. Ba Ji and the others continued to take a step back. Everyone was bewildered and uncertain. The brat in front of them was simply too strange. The third time, Long Yu took another step forward, continuing to suppress his opponent with his aura. Another dragon's roar caused Ba Ji and the others to take a few steps back in fright. A mere rank 6 true spirit brat. What could be so strange about him? The face of the martial cultivator with a scar on his face darkened. That's right, that brat just now was definitely a fluke. He's most likely bluffing now. Ba Ji was scared 3 times and gradually calmed down. He once again returned to his usual confident and savage appearance, and raised his head to look at Long Yu, a look of contempt flashing past his eyes. A mere brat at the 6th level of the true spirit realm dares to try and fight against me. Ba Ji, Ba Ji, will let you know that the difference in martial arts realms is not something that can be made up for with a bluff. Ba Ji brandished the sword in his hand, and his body immediately turned into a gust of wind, charging towards Long Yu. At the same time, the rank 8 true spirit and rank 7 true spirit martial cultivators all formed a circle, almost gathering together as they surrounded and attacked Long Yu. They were still thinking that if everyone gathered together, they would be able to take care of each other if anything happened. But what they didn't know was that this gave Long Yu an extremely good chance to kill them all in one fell swoop. 9 Nether Dragon explosions, illusory dragon roar, 6 fake, 1 real, just waiting for all of you to gather together. Long Yu's eyes flashed with killing intent, seeing that Ba Ji and the group of martial cultivators had gathered together. A total of 10 experts of the martial Dao pounced towards him. Facing such a scene, if it was any other rank 6 true spirit martial cultivator, they would definitely be scared out of their wits. However, Long Yu was calm and composed. Boom, 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 boom. 4 consecutive illusory dragon roars exploded in the ears of the 10 martial cultivators like spring thunder. Among them, one of them truly contained the destructive power of the Nether Dragon 9 explosion. Even though Ba Ji had subconsciously condensed a Gale Screen, the true power of the second explosion of the Nether Dragon 9 explosion was much stronger than the first explosion he had just endured. The Netherworld Chi instantly exploded, and a strange pitch-black aura enveloped the entire area. The invisible 9 underworld tornado completely enveloped the 10 martial cultivators of Ba Ji within it. Endless 9 underworld Chi completely invaded their meridians. At this moment, they didn't even have the time to scream before they all fell to the ground. Only the expert of the 9th true spirit realm, Ba Ji, managed to hold on for a while and almost roared, "Boss, this kid is playing tricks. I can't take it anymore." After roaring, the long sword in his hand fell to the ground, and his skin turned pitch black as the netherworld Chi corroded his body. Even the Gale Screen couldn't withstand the second explosion of the Nether Dragon 9 explosion. A great desolate rank martial skill is indeed extraordinary. It's only at the initial stage, but it can allow me to cross 3 martial realms and defeat Ba Ji. The true power of the Nether Dragon 9 explosion shocked even Long Yu himself. However, immediately after, Long Yu was unable to continue and was unable to continue using the third explosion of the Nether Dragon 9 explosions. As a result, the Nether Dragon 9 explosions instantly backfired, binding his entire body. The side effects of executing the Nether Dragon 9 explosion were finally revealed. Luckily, after executing the skill, Long Yu managed to defeat the 10 martial cultivators, including Ba Ji, in one fell swoop, temporarily relieving Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu of the danger. Brother Long. Shi Yingwu immediately ran up to check if Long Yu was injured. However, just as she ran over to support him, she realized that Long Yu seemed to be unable to move as he fell backward, giving her a huge scare. She immediately reached out her slender hands to support Long Yu, and soon realized that Long Yu was only unable to move, but he was still conscious. Lu Yuan was extremely worried that Long Yu was unable to speak, as she was afraid that Long Yu was in some kind of trouble. Luckily, it wasn't Lu Yuan's first time seeing Long Yu in this state. Previously at Butterfly Valley, Long Yu had appeared in this state in front of her and Mo foaming. "Don't worry, Xiao Wu. You should be fine. He'll fully recover in half an hour." Lu Yuan comforted her, allowing Shi Yingwu to let out a sigh of relief. Meanwhile, when Long Yu executed the Nether Dragon 9 explosion and killed Ba Ji and the other 9 martial cultivators, the remaining 2 martial cultivators who were holding Tian Yutian back were dumbfounded. The martial cultivator with a scar on his face finally understood what Ba Ji meant when he said that the kid was a little strange. How was it a little strange? It was obviously very strange, strange to the extreme. A 6th-layer True Spirit Realm kid killed a 9th-layer True Spirit Realm expert? They didn't even dare to think about it in the past. Let's go. The martial cultivator with a scar immediately decided to give up on his target and escape. Even if something had happened to Long Yu, they were definitely not a match for Tian Yutian, who was about to break out of the inescapable net. If they stayed here any longer, they might even lose their lives. The martial cultivator with a scar on his face turned around and ran, ignoring Tian Yutian, who was trapped in the inescapable net. No matter what, the Clear Water Pavilion's mission was important, but their lives were even more important. "Break!" Tian Yutian bellowed. Finally, after the 2 of them escaped, there was no one left to maintain the inescapable net, and he managed to break free from it. He looked over and saw that the 2 martial cultivators were already far away. Even if he chased after them now, he wouldn't be able to catch up. "Brother Long, how are you?" Tian Yutian calmed himself down and immediately turned around to walk toward Long Yu. Just now, Long Yu was actually able to kill the rank 9 True Spirits Ba Ji, which caused Tian Yutian's heart to tremble. But following that, Long Yu fell straight down, causing his heart to tremble. Long Yu can't die. He can't speak now, but he's conscious. He'll be fine in half an hour. Lu Yuan explained to Tian Yutian. "That's good." Tian Yutian let out a sigh of relief. But then, an incredibly powerful aura descended from the sky in the distance, causing Tian Yutian's body to stiffen up. He raised his head and saw another group of people coming from the direction of Fallen Soldier City. This time, it was even grander than the 12 martial cultivators from the Clearwater Pavilion. City Lord of Fallen Soldier City. Tian Yutian stood up with a self-deprecating smile. Chapter 282. The 2 rank 9 True Spirit Martial Cultivators who had just escaped from the Clearwater Cloud Pavilion also followed the group and rushed back. Apart from the 2 from the Emerald Water Pavilion, the rest were from the Celestial Treasure Auction House. It seemed like Long Yu had stolen the Law Mystic Leaf, and they had no choice but to ask the mayor of Soldier Death City for help. There were more than 10 people in the group, and the one leading them was a black figure in the sky. He wore a black mask, and his eyes were filled with an intimidating aura. This person was the mayor of Soldier Death City, an expert of the Heavenly Secret Realm. No matter how strong Tian Yutian was, he was no match for an expert of the Heavenly Secret Realm. It was not only because of the difference in strength, but also because of the difference in cultivation level. As for Long Yu, Even if he was at his peak condition, he would not be able to fight against an expert of the heavenly secret realm, let alone now that he was unable to move. It's over. Tian Yutian groaned in his heart as he watched the opponent approaching him. In the face of a heavenly secret realm expert, it was impossible to escape. Thus, Tian Yutian decided to just stand there and put away the transcendent spirit rank combat weapon. Like an inescapable net, he quietly waited for the enemy to arrive. His only hope was that the mayor of Soldier Death City would be reasonable. If that was the case, he might be able to deal with the opponent. I heard that the mayor of Soldier Death City was impartial when he governed the city. I wonder if it's true. Tian Yutian thought to himself. These were all rumors. The mayor of Soldier Death City rarely showed his face outside, so not many people knew if it was true or not. Not long after, the mayor of Soldier Death City had already flown a few hundred zhang away and was the first to arrive before Tian Yutian. Where is the long mystic leaf? Even though the mayor of Soldier Death City had a strong aura, he did not use it to oppress others. Instead, he asked in a deep voice. From a voice, it sounded like a middle-aged man, and his tone revealed his calmness. Even though he was an expert of the heavenly secret realm, the mayor of Soldier Death City did not fly in the air and speak from above. Instead, he landed on the ground. Over here. Before Tian Yutian could say anything, Lu Yuan spoke up from behind. At this moment, Lu Yuan had calmed down. In the face of absolute power, resistance was futile. The only way to survive was to reason with the other party. Oh, the black-robed city lord raised his head and glanced at Lu Yuan. You have come to my soldiers' demise city to behave atrociously. Are you looking down on me, the city lord? City lord, I don't think we are the ones who are behaving atrociously in Soldier Demise City, right? Lu Yuan asked in return. Nonsense. At this time, Manager Zhang of the Immortal Treasure Auction House jumped out and hid behind the city lord. He pointed at Long Yu and hatefully said, "This brat took advantage of the middle of the night and stole our 10,000 laws mysterious leaf. Isn't he the one causing trouble in Fallen Soldier City? Moreover, this kid even killed our Clearwater Pavilion's Jin Xiong in front of countless people at the market square. He doesn't have any respect for the city lord at all." The scar-faced martial cultivator from the Clearwater Pavilion also spoke of this matter and coldly snorted. The matter at the market square was a duel between Brother Long and Jin Xiong. Someone from your Clearwater Pavilion, a person from the rank 8 True Spirit, wanted to bully a junior from the rank 6 True Spirit, but was killed by him. Tian Yutian was very clear about this matter and coldly snorted. A duel is fine. The city lord waved his hand, indicating that he did not want to pursue this matter. Then he said, "However, stealing from my Soldier Demise City is against the rules. You should hand over the 10,000 laws mysterious leaf and follow me back to receive punishment. Why don't you just kill us?" Lu Yuan snorted and said disdainfully, "If you want to protect the people from the auction house, you have a reason no matter what. Why are you pretending to be a good person? Cover up?" The city lord of Soldier Demise City chuckled. Could it be that the people from the Immortal Treasure Auction House are evil people? City lord, don't listen to their nonsense. Manager Zhang of the Immortal Treasure Auction House clenched his teeth and said, "The auction of our Immortal Treasure Auction House has already begun. If we can't take out the 10,000 laws mysterious leaf, it will greatly damage the image of the entire Soldier Demise City." The city lord nodded and his aura suddenly changed. "You guys, why aren't you handing over the 10,000 laws mysterious leaf?" His eyes swept across Lu Yuan and the others, and a formless pressure caused their hearts to tighten. Handing over the 10,000 laws mysterious leaf is not a problem. Although Lu Yuan was facing a strong pressure, she still clenched her teeth stubbornly. "However, I can't accept that the people from the auction house are so arrogant." "What do you have to accept?" the city lord said indifferently. "We initially planned to buy this 10,000 laws mysterious leaf. If they don't sell it, we'll just wait for today's auction." Lu Yuan raised her pretty face and said coldly, "However, this manager Zhang told us to wait, but what we're waiting for is their attack. The people from the Immortal Treasure Auction House are obviously greedy. That's right. Shi Yingwu also plucked up her courage and said, if it wasn't for Brother Long's ability to fly, we would have been killed by them. There's such a thing? The city lord seemed a little surprised. City lord, don't listen to their nonsense. Manager Zhang hurriedly said, our Immortal Treasure Auction House has been in Fallen Soldier City for many years. Don't you know our character? How could we do such a shameless thing? That's right. Immediately, another martial cultivator from the Immortal Treasure Auction House said, at that time, we only brought people in to see them to tell them that we can't sell the 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf to them in advance. In the end, they broke the window and left us scratching our heads in confusion. Humph, telling us that we can't sell the 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf. Is there a need to bring so many people and guard the door with murderous intent? Lu Yuan said disdainfully. Hearing both sides insist on their own words, the city lord of Fallen Soldier City did not think much and just said, then you guys hand over the 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf. As for the truth, I will naturally send people to investigate it thoroughly. As an expert in the Heaven Realm, the city lord of Fallen Soldier City did not want to waste any more time here. He just wanted to get the 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf back and not affect the reputation of Fallen Soldier City because of it. As for the rest of the matter, he could just leave it to the city lord's subordinates to handle. Why should he worry about it? Lu Yuan was naturally dissatisfied with such a solution. Why could the people from the Immortal Treasure Auction House be so greedy and want to kill people to steal their wealth? Even if the city lord seemed to be quite fair, it was hard to say for his subordinates. The people from the city lord's mansion would most likely be biased towards the Immortal Treasure Auction House in the city. If they were to investigate, what would the result be? That's right. Hurry up and hand over the 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf. The city lord is magnanimous and might even spare your lives. Steward Zhang said proudly. With the support of the city lord, he was now the winner. The 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf absolutely could not escape. However, when he said this, his eyes flashed with killing intent. Obviously, as long as the city lord left, he would definitely quietly send people to kill Long Yu and the others in front of him. Looking at Manager Zhang's proud look, Lu Yuan and Shi Yingwu felt a burst of anger in their hearts. However, with the city lord of Fallen Soldier City in the Heaven Realm present, they definitely had no way to resist. Did they have to hand over the 10,000 Laws mysterious leaf just like that? In fact, it was not a big deal to hand it over. At most, they would have to go to the auction house and get the item. However, it was hard to swallow this anger in their hearts. It seems that this old man is late. Why is it so lively here? Just then, an old man's voice that Lu Yuan was familiar with came from behind her. It sounded lazy and attracted everyone's attention. Shi Crane Pine, Elder Shi. Although Long Yu could not move, he could hear Elder Shi's voice and his heart could not help but move. Elder Shi actually came at this time. However, even if it was Elder Shi, in the face of an expert from the Heaven Realm, he certainly had no chance of winning. Grandfather! Shi Yingwu was overjoyed and quickly stood up. With a glance, she saw Shi Crane Pine descending from the sky and landing beside them. Shi Crane Pine, dressed in a gray robe, was calm and composed. Although he had not stepped into the Heaven Realm, his aura did not lose to the city lord of Fallen Soldier City at all. Hey, old man, are you the backer of this group of people? Manager Zhang did not notice the change in the eyes of the city lord of Fallen Soldier City. When he saw Shi Crane Pine, he immediately laughed disdainfully. Disrespectful old man, are you the one who taught your juniors to steal chickens and dogs? What a joke. Shi Crane Pine glanced at Manager Zhang and said indifferently, you can kill people and rob them, but you can't let others rob you? Old thing, how dare you be so arrogant in front of our city lord? Manager Zhang snorted coldly. Shut up. At this moment, the city lord of Fallen Soldier City suddenly shouted, and his aura suddenly spread out, causing Manager Zhang to take 3 big steps back. This scene shocked the people in the Immortal Treasure Auction House. What was going on with the city lord? Why was he so fierce toward Manager Zhang? He was just being nice to him just a moment ago. Elder Shi, I didn't expect you to be the one who needs the mysterious law leaf. The city lord of Fallen Soldier City wore a sincere look as he bowed toward Shi Cranepine. His respectful demeanor caused everyone to widen their eyes in shock. Even Long Yu, Lu Yuan, and Tian Yutian did not expect the city lord of Fallen Soldier City to recognize Elder Shi and to be so respectful toward him. Tian Yutian was overjoyed. It seemed like the old man who had just arrived was quite capable. His brother Lucio was saved. The current situation was a complete turnaround. If that's the case, you can take the mysterious law leaf. The city lord of Fallen Soldier City said straightforwardly. It was obvious that he trusted Shi Cranepine's character. Even Elder Shi's men would not take the initiative to steal something. There must be something fishy about this. It was highly possible that, as Lu Yuan had mentioned, the people of the Immortal Treasure Auction House were trying to rob them after seeing the mysterious law leaf. No one would be able to tolerate such an action. There's no need for that. I'll personally pay a visit to the Immortal Treasure Auction House. However, Pine Crane did not care about the good intentions of the Fallen Soldier City City Lord. Instead, he said indifferently, give the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf to them to auction. However, none of the culprits who tried to harm my men will be able to escape. The scene caused the people of the Immortal Treasure Auction House to break out in cold sweat. The city lord of Fallen Soldier City recognized the old man who had suddenly appeared. It seemed like the old man had a formidable background. Chapter 283. Death Soldier City's city lord and his entourage immediately calmed down after Pine Crane arrived. It was very obvious that as a rank 9 true spirit alchemist, even this Heaven's Man's Secret Realm's Soldier City Lord had received his kindness. Being supported by Lu Yuan, Long Yu already knew Pine Crane's plan. Returning Xianyi was because Elder Shi didn't want to take advantage of the Immortal Treasure Auction House, but he would definitely take revenge on all those who had designs on his granddaughter. In this way, even the City Lord of Death Soldier City had no reason to stop Pine Crane from taking revenge. Not long after, Long Yu felt his meridians recover. This time, he had comprehended the Dark Dragon 9 explosions to the minor realm, which reduced the duration of the side effects by more than half. In just the time it took for a stick of incense to burn, he was able to move. The higher the level of the Dark Dragon 9 explosions, the shorter the side effects. If I reach the Perfection Realm, there will be almost no side effects. Long Yu had a deeper understanding of the power of the Dark Dragon 9 explosions, but unfortunately, he couldn't comprehend it to the Perfection Realm in a short period of time. After the City Lord of Soldier Death City took 10,000 arts Xianyi and left with the crowd, Dust Crane Pine first went to check on Lu Xiao in the ice cube. Young man, your brother can still be saved, but I need some special herbs. Soon, Pine Crane came to a conclusion, and this conclusion naturally made Tian Yuqian overjoyed. Senior, please tell me, what special herbs do you need? As long as he could be saved, Tian Yutian, would do his best. Buy some herbs according to this recipe, then come to the Immortal Treasure Auction House to find me. Pine Crane took out a bamboo slip and wrote down the herbs he needed. He then turned around and looked at Long Yu. How's the situation with Long Yu? He's almost fine. Long Yu could speak, but his voice was a little hoarse. Ha, Brother Long, you're finally awake. As soon as Tian Yutian heard the roar, his face lit up with excitement. You really gave me a fright. What kind of martial skill was that? 7 Dragon Roars, just now? Even I was a little scared when I heard it. Nether Dragon 9 Explosions. As for its grade, I'm not too sure. Long Yu told him the name of the martial arts technique, but he did not reveal its grade. After all, a martial arts technique of this grade had never appeared in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. Even if he told them, they would not understand. To be able to allow you to cross 3 levels to defeat an opponent, this martial skill is definitely not a profound grade. Pine Crane narrowed his eyes. Little Dragon, your Nether Dragon 9 Explosions is probably an Earth rank martial technique. Mortal grade, Spirit grade, Profound grade, earth grade, heaven grade. These 5 levels were the grades of all the martial arts techniques on the Heavenly Mandate continent. Each level was divided into upper, middle, and lower grades, as well as the rare supreme and supreme martial arts techniques. There were only a few heaven-class martial arts techniques in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. It was said that only a few were preserved in the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Institute, and no one had been able to comprehend them. That was because heaven-class martial arts techniques were too profound. Those who could comprehend Earth-level martial arts techniques were already among the best in the Heavenly Mandate continent, standing at the top of the pyramid in the Heavenly Mandate continent. Even if it was a lower-grade Earth-class martial art technique, it was still a secret of the powerful factions. The profound grade martial arts techniques were the martial arts techniques cultivated by ordinary Empyrean plane cultivators. According to Pinecrane's knowledge, none of them were as powerful as Long Yu's Nether Dragon 9 explosions. An Earth-class martial art technique. Tian Yutian's eyes lit up. Even though he had comprehended the purple light divine steel and the power of laws, the strongest martial arts technique he had learned was only a spirit grade transcendent grade, and he had only learned it from a senior after going through a lot of trouble. A profound grade martial art technique was extremely precious to him, and he did not even dare to think about it. However, Long Yu had executed an Earth-class martial art technique with a wave of his hand. So it's such a powerful martial art technique. No wonder he could cross 3 levels of the martial way and kill Ba Ji, who was in the rank 9 true spirit realm. Tian Yutian nodded repeatedly, thinking that he had suddenly understood. But in fact, neither Pinecrane nor the others would have guessed that Long Yu's Nether Dragon 9 explosions had surpassed the heaven-grade martial art technique. It was a grand desolation-grade martial art technique. No one in the entire Heavenly Mandate continent knew what level it was. However, there was no need for Long Yu to explain it to Pinecrane and Tian Yutian. Let's go. It's time to demand an explanation from the Immortal Treasure Auction House. Pinecrane's eyes flickered coldly. Back at the North Sea border city, Xing Liang kidnapped Shi Yingwu and offered her to a disciple of the 10,000 Arrows sect, which infuriated Pinecrane. What he did afterward caused the entire North Sea border city to suffer great losses. And now, the Immortal Treasure Auction House was trying to harm Long Yu, Shi Yingwu, and Lu Yuan, which infuriated Pinecrane once again. It wasn't that he couldn't buy the long mystic leaf in person, but the place where he grew the other herb was dangerous, and it had ripened yesterday. It wasn't that he couldn't buy the long mystic leaf himself, but the place where he grew the other herb was dangerous, and it had ripened yesterday. He didn't want to miss any of the 3 herbs needed to refine the celestial elixir, which was why he asked Long Yu to bring Shi Yingwu here. He didn't expect to meet with misfortune even when he was here to buy something. It was really difficult to do anything in this world without martial arts. Pinecrane admired Long Yu more and more. Moreover, you also know alchemy. In time, you will be able to shake the entire Heavenly Mandate continent. Long Yu didn't have any plans to shake the Heavenly Mandate continent with his might. Shaking the Heavenly Mandate continent was one of the few things that Long Yu wanted to do the most. He wanted to go back to the Tang Empire and drag left Duke Chu Chaoxing down from his position. Other than that, he wanted to go to the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate continent and take back the little fox, Chihua, from the hands of the celestial secret realm cultivator, Xuanji Tianxin. Xuanji Tianxin took Chihua away because of his 9-tailed true spirit. I wonder how Chihua is doing now. Long Yu felt sorry for Chihua when he thought of this. This was a great humiliation to him, and this humiliation could only be washed away when he became stronger. And this day didn't seem too far away. 1 year. There was still 1 year before the Heavenly Mandate Sacred Selection would begin. As long as he passed the Sacred Selection, he would be able to enter the Northern Academy of the Heavenly Mandate continent, face Xuanji Tianxin, and find Chihua. Defeating an ordinary rank 9 true spirit warrior like Ba Zhe was not worthy of Long Yu's pride. His goal was so big that even Pinecrane couldn't imagine it. the divine battle world outside the heavenly mandate continent, the dragon of Juyo, the Juyo tribe, the fairy consort Yu. Everything was waiting for him to find out. Apart from that, there was also the whereabouts of his parents. Although he had never seen his parents in this life, they had suffered too many unjust wrongs. Long Yu had to wash away these grievances for them. Death Soldier City soon appeared in front of everyone. And this time, when they stepped into Death Soldier City, their mood was completely different from the last time. After entering Death Soldier City, Pine Crane went straight to the Celestial Treasure Auction House. Because he was the City Lord of Death Soldier City, the Celestial Treasure Auction House had already prepared a private room for him. Long Yu, Lu Yuan, and Shi Yingwu followed Pine Crane into the private room to prepare for the auction of the mystic leaf of Thousand Laws. As for Tian Yutian, he went to the trading square to buy the special herbs that Pine Crane had asked him to buy. The trading square of Death Soldier City was bustling, and these things were naturally available. Pine Crane's alchemy skills were enough to refine these materials into elixirs and save Tian Yutian's brother, Lucio. In the Celestial Treasure Auction House, the auction was carried out in an orderly manner. Due to Pine Crane's arrival, even the City Lord of Death Soldier City was present to supervise the auction. Under such circumstances, the Celestial Treasure Auction House naturally did not dare to be negligent. This Iron Dragon Rib pill is a rare pill, a lower black rank pill. Brother Long, I believe you haven't consumed it before? Pine Crane quickly pointed at a pill that was being auctioned in the hall and asked. A pill that had not been consumed before was extremely valuable. For Long Yu, its value was more than 3 times that of an ordinary martial cultivator, as he could completely absorb the medicinal energy of the pill with the help of the 9 Underworld's Dragon Seal. I haven't consumed it before. Not only does this Iron Dragon Rib pill contain the spiritual chi of heaven and earth that a black-ranked pill should have, it can also strengthen one's flesh. Its effect seems to be pretty good. The starting price is only 5 crystal cores. Long Yu squinted his eyes as his interest was piqued. Although he was already a pill alchemist, there were some pills that he could not refine just because he wanted to. This Iron Dragon Rib pill was a rare pill that even Pine Crane did not know the formula for. If he bought it, it would definitely not be a loss. 7 crystal cores. Long Yu directly called out his bid. For such a pill, a single-digit crystal nucleus was definitely worth it. Of course, in reality, this price was already not cheap. However, the current Long Yu was rich and imposing, so this amount of crystal nucleus was really nothing. Even if Pine Crane gave him 100 crystal cores, Long Yu still had 70 to 80 crystal cores, so buying a few pills was not a problem at all. Not long after, he bought the Iron Dragon Rib pill at the price of 9 crystal cores. With Pine Crane's knowledge, there weren't many pills that he hadn't seen or couldn't refine. In the entire auction, the only pill that Elder she didn't know how to refine was the Dragon Tendon Iron Bone pill, which was won by Long Yu. The other pills and combat weapons were practically useless to Long Yu, Pine Crane, and the rest. Not long after, it was time for the 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf. Steward Zhang, holding a delicate wooden box, walked onto the auction stage and began to explain the effects and rarity of this 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf. At this point, the atmosphere of the entire auction reached a climax. After all, there were many representatives from major forces who came for this 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf. Something's not right. Long Yu suddenly narrowed his eyes and quietly displayed the spirit-seeking technique. This time, he shockingly discovered that in the delicate wooden box that Steward Zhang was holding, there was no 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf. Instead, he raised his head and glanced around, and discovered that the golden light that represented the existence of the 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf was leaving the Immortal Treasure Auction House from the side door. It seemed that someone else had used the trick of swapping to steal the real 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf. And everyone, including Steward Zhang, seemed to be in the dark. I didn't expect this 10,000 Arts Mysterious Leaf to be stolen just after it was handed over to them. It seems that we are not the only force that wants it. Pine Crane coldly snorted and immediately stood up. Chapter 284. As soon as Longyu discovered that the mystic leaf had been swapped, he immediately informed Pine Crane of its true whereabouts. Without any hesitation, Pine Crane instantly executed the wind manipulation technique, and with a flash, he stepped out of the immortal treasure auction house. Everyone in the auction house was shocked by this scene. Before the auction of the mystic leaf, there were already many rumors circulating, saying that the mystic leaf had already been reserved by someone, and it was related to the city lord of Fallen Soldier City. Although many people still wanted to compete, they did not have much hope in their hearts. But now, they saw that in the private room, an old man in the rank 9 true spirit realm directly rushed out of the auction house when the mystic leaf was auctioned. Didn't that private room say that the mystic leaf was reserved? Why did he leave the auction house when the auction just started? Not only him, look, even the city lord of Fallen Soldier City left the private room. What's going on? Is the auction of the mystic leaf going to continue? Many people whispered, and the entire auction house began to become chaotic. The city lord of Fallen Soldier City, wearing a black robe and a black mask, also left the auction house in one step, following closely behind Pine Crane. He knew that for Pine Crane to choose to leave at this time, and in such a hurry, there must be something urgent. Grandfather! Xiang Wu stood up and watched Pine Crane leave, a little anxious. Xiao Wu, don't be afraid. Elder Shu will be back soon. Long Yu stopped the spirit-seeking technique. His eyes regained clarity and comforted the little girl. I didn't expect that a mystic leaf would attract so many people. Lu Yuan sighed slightly. Lu Yuan, look after Xiao Wu here. I'll go out and see what's going on. I'll be back soon. After saying that, Long Yu stood up, spread the lunar wings behind him, and flew straight out of the auction house. Who swapped out the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf? On the street outside the auction house, a group of 3 people swaggered out of the city. One of them, holding a flame banner, was an expert in the rank 9 true spirit realm, with an extremely conspicuous bald head, looking quite fierce. This person was the bodyguard of the North Sea border city's young master Xing Liang, Li Jin. The other person was an old man in a golden robe. His eyes were protruding and his hair was sparse. At first glance, he seemed like an old man with 1 foot in the grave. However, this was also a rank 9 true spirit expert, and it seemed like his status was much higher than Li Jin's. As for the other person, he was following behind them like a follower. His entire body was covered in a black cloak, and other than that, no one could see anything about him. Most importantly, no one was able to see through his martial Dao realm. In the hands of the golden-robed old man, there was an incomparably exquisite box. Inside the box was impressively the 10,000 arts mysterious leaf. These 3 people, after swapping the 10,000 laws mysterious leaf, unexpectedly did not hide in the slightest. Instead, they swaggered on the street, wanting to leave Soldier Parish City. Stop! Pine Crane's voice came from behind. Then he descended in front of the 3 and swept a glance at them. 2 of them were in the 9th true spirit layer, and one of them had an unknown martial path realm. However, in Soldier Parish City, there should not be anyone who dared to be so presumptuous. After all, the city lord of Soldier Parish City was right behind them. Old man, what are you trying to do? The bald martial cultivator Li Jin, who was holding the flame banner, smirked. He did not take Pine Crane seriously at all. Leave the 10,000 laws mysterious leaf behind. Pine Crane did not waste any time and said directly, with just you. Li Jin laughed as if he had heard the funniest joke in the world. If you dare to stop us, then come up and give it a try. Otherwise, don't talk nonsense. When Pine Crane heard this, he did not become angry because of the other party's contempt. Instead, he frowned slightly. From the other party's words and expression, he could see absolute confidence. This kind of confidence was definitely not without reason. The only strange thing was the mysterious person in the black cloak. Even Pine Crane could not see through the other party's martial Dao realm. It was either that the other party had cultivated a secret technique to conceal his cultivation, or that the other party's martial Dao realm exceeded his by too much. Although it was rare for Bei High Kingdom to produce a supreme expert, but who knew this guy might be an expert who had stepped into the high level of the heavenly realm? Although the probability was very low, it was not impossible. If that was the case, then this matter would be troublesome. Not to mention Pine Crane, even the City Lord of Death Soldier City would not be able to handle this matter. Even the entire Bei High Kingdom would not be able to stop the other party. Behaving atrociously in my Death Soldier City. Are you tired of living? The City Lord of Death Soldier City finally arrived at this moment. A black-robed figure descended from the sky and stood side by side with Pine Crane. His eyes, which were not covered by the black mask, were filled with anger. It had been a long time since someone had behaved atrociously in Death Soldier City in front of him. In the entire Bei High Kingdom, the number of people who had the ability to behave atrociously in Death Soldier City could be counted on one hand. You are the City Lord of Death Soldier City? The bald martial cultivator Li Jin, who was holding the flame banner, narrowed his eyes and said disdainfully, "If you know what's good for you, get out of our way now. Otherwise, it will be too late to escape later." How could the City Lord of Death Soldier City tolerate such an insulting provocation? Even if he was slightly afraid of the other party's strength, he could not remain indifferent. "Who exactly are you? Do you dare to tell us your names?" The City Lord harumphed coldly. "If we told you our names, I'm afraid you would be so scared that you would wet your pants." Li Jin chuckled. "However, if that's the case, it would be too boring. It's better if you don't tell us your names. How about it, City Lord? Do you want to take a gamble and see if we are really strong or just bluffing?" It was obvious that he was treating the City Lord of Death Soldier City as a joke. At this moment, no matter how cautious the City Lord of Death Soldier City was, he could not tolerate the other party's arrogance. One should know that they were currently on the busiest street of Death Soldier City. Countless martial cultivators were watching them from all directions. If the City Lord of Death Soldier City gave in now, how could he continue to be the City Lord? A City Lord without prestige was a failed City Lord. If he gave in now, what would happen if someone tried to bluff in the future? Humph! Hiding your head but showing your tail. What a despicable man. The City Lord harumphed coldly. Without hesitation, he raised his hand and unleashed the aura of a Heaven-tier secret realm expert. At this moment, the entire street was enveloped in a destructive aura, as if the City Lord could destroy the entire city with a wave of his hand. This was the power of the law that the City Lord of Death Soldier City had mastered, air explosion, using his own Qianqi to cause the surrounding air to explode. Especially after he had completely mastered the laws of heaven and earth, his power was more than 10 times stronger than an ordinary martial cultivator in the True Spirit Secret Realm. Feeling this terrifying power, even the confident bald martial cultivator Li Jin was taken aback. It seems that this City Lord is quite powerful. He's slightly stronger than those who have just entered the Heaven-tier Secret Realm. Li Jin squinted his eyes and said calmly, "So what if he's powerful?" The old man in the golden robe finally spoke. However, his voice sounded old, indicating that he was not young anymore. It was likely that the day of his death would come soon. As he said this, the black-cloaked figure behind him finally moved. One step, just one step. An extremely cold aura exploded from the black-cloaked figure, completely suppressing the power of the law of air explosion from the City Lord of Death Soldier City. There are strong and weak people in the Heaven-tier Secret Realm. I didn't want to cause trouble, but since you want me to intervene, I'll have to offend you. The black-cloaked figure's voice was hoarse and deep, terrifying those who heard it. The City Lord of Fallen Soldier City immediately sensed the piercingly cold aura that was emitted by his step, and his expression instantly changed enormously. This aura, it's the aura of a wolf. You're the third bane, ungrateful wolf, Lei Wensheng. The City Lord of Death Soldier City immediately knew that he had kicked an iron plate this time. In the Heavenly Mandate continent, each of the 7 Bane stars was a martial arts powerhouse who had committed many evil deeds. Lei Wensheng, the Ingrate, was ranked 3rd among the 7 Bane stars. Naturally, his strength was extraordinary. Compared to the starry ocean wheel that Long Yu had seen before, this ungrateful wolf Lei Wensheng was obviously much stronger. The City Lord of Death Soldier City's words immediately pointed out the identity of the other party, causing all the martial arts practitioners nearby to turn pale with fright. The 7 Great Bane. It was actually someone from the 7 Great Bane. In an instant, many martial arts practitioners immediately retreated far away. The 7 Great Bane were notorious evildoers. Each of their hands was stained with the blood of countless people. They could not control the fear in their hearts. Facing such a terrifying and cruel martial arts expert, they had no right to speak. The only thing they could do now was to retreat far away to protect their own lives. City Lord, you look down on my master. If my master was here, you wouldn't even have a chance to speak. The black-cloaked figure let out a series of hoarse laughter from his throat. His master? This caused the surrounding people to be slightly stunned. In that case, the black-cloaked figure was not the ungrateful wolf Lei Wensheng, but his subordinate? Just a subordinate of one of the 7 Calamity stars possessed such tyrannical strength. Even the aura of the City Lord of Fallen Soldier City could be shattered with a single step. The ungrateful wolf subordinates are the 7 wolf guards. You must be one of them. Chapter 285. Of course, there was a difference in strength between experts of the Heavenly Secret Realm. However, the Heavenly Secret Realm was not divided into 9 levels like the Body-Tempering Secret Realm and the True Spirit Secret Realm. Long Yu did not know the details of the division. He rushed to the scene and saw 2 Heavenly Secret Realm experts fighting, which made him frown. Ungrateful Wolf, Lei Wensheng's subordinate. He stood in the distance and looked at the black-cloaked man carefully. He found that the man's aura was stronger than the Galaxy Leaf and the Heavenly Star. And this was only one of the ungrateful wolf, Lei Wensheng's 7 wolf guards. This showed how terrifying ungrateful wolf, Lei Wensheng's strength was. Wang Chongfeng. O Wang Chongfeng, you asked me to kill 3 of your disciples to help you vent your anger. But now, the subordinates of the weakest among them can easily tear me to shreds. It seems that achieving your goal of obtaining your blood of the heavens cultivation method is still far away in the indefinite future. Long Yu squinted his eyes. Immediately after, he saw Sunset Crane and Elder Shi. Without any hesitation, they turned around and ran towards him. If it was just Elder Shi alone, he might not have abandoned the City Lord of Fallen Soldier City. But now, Elder Shi's granddaughter was here too. No matter what, he could not abandon his granddaughter. He had to leave, and he had to bring Shi Yingwu with him. As one of the 7 stars of calamity, ungrateful wolf Lei Wensheng was extremely cruel and bloodthirsty. His subordinate was naturally the same. Now that Pine Crane dared to block their way, the wolf guard would definitely bear a grudge against him. If he did not leave, he would only lose his life. Let's have a good fight. The City Lord of Fallen Soldier City watched Pine Crane leave with a look of relief in his eyes. If Pine Crane had insisted on staying, it would have been completely useless and would instead be a burden to him. Now that Pine Crane had left, he could go all out to deal with this ingrate, one of Lei Wensheng's 7 wolf guards. A battle between Heavenly Secret Realm experts. All the martial cultivators of the Jianghu and the disciples of the clans quickly retreated to the back. Not long after, there was no one left within 100 zhang radius. In a battle of this level, even an expert of the rank 9 True Spirit would not be able to interfere. The withered old man in the golden robe and the baldy Li Jin who was holding the flame banner also retreated a little in order to avoid being affected. A terrifying energy fluctuation instantly burst out in the city, as if the entire world was trembling. The battle between the 2 Celestial Realm experts finally broke out completely. Meanwhile, Long Yu and Pine Crane had already returned to the Immortal Treasure Auction House. At this very moment, everyone already knew that the 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf had been replaced by someone else, and the person who took it away was one of the 7 great calamity stars, the white-eyed wolf, Lei Wenxing's subordinate. In this way, no one dared to have any idea about 10,000 Arts mysterious leaf. That old man seems to have offended the white-eyed wolf subordinate, and now he still dares to run. If we capture him, wouldn't we be able to make friends with the white-eyed wolf subordinate? That's right, this old man previously relied on the city lord to strut around. Now that the city lord is probably not his match and is in danger, let's see what kind of backing this old man has. When Long Yu and Pine Crane stepped into the Immortal Treasure Auction House, they heard many similar discussions, causing their hearts to tighten. No matter when, there would always be people who took advantage of the situation, especially those from the Immortal Treasure Auction House. They had suffered a loss previously. If they did not take this opportunity to regain their face, when would they? Moreover, if they captured Pine Crane, they could claim credit from the white-eyed wolf subordinate. Why not? Long Yu watched as a group of martial cultivators headed towards the pavilion where Shi Yingwu and Lu Yuan were. They obviously wanted to use the 2 women as hostages to threaten Pine Crane and capture him more easily. A bunch of lowly people. Long Yu sneered. The dragon sparrow wings on his back instantly spread out, and his whole body turned into a black stream of light, gliding toward the pavilion. Imperial Water Vortex. With a wave of his hand, the profound chi in his body was activated, and suddenly a whirlpool of water condensed out of thin air, sweeping toward those martial cultivators who were about to rush into the pavilion. At the same time, Pine Crane did not hesitate in the slightest. In an instant, the tyrannical strength of the rank 9 true spirit burst out, and all of a sudden, those martial cultivators who were resisting the Imperial Water Vortex were blown away. "Let's go," Pine Crane shouted in a deep voice, and then took his granddaughter Shi Yingwu, smashed through the roof of the Immortal Treasure Auction House, and flew away from the big hole in the roof. Long Yu followed closely behind, with one hand holding Lu Yuan's soft body, and with a flap of his wings, he flew into the sky. The sky as high as the bird flies. Those martial cultivators in the true spirit secret realm would not be able to catch up to them. After flying into the air, Long Yu turned his head back and glanced at the streets of the city, only to see a terrifying energy constantly erupting from that place. The dust and smoke that rose up covered the entire scene, making it impossible for anyone to clearly see what was going on. If I were in the middle of that collision of energy, I would not be able to withstand it no matter what. Long Yu furrowed his brows. Immediately after, he saw a man walking out of the city with a huge block of ice in his hand. Tian Yutian must have gathered the materials needed to save his brother Lu Xiao, and was just about to go to the auction house to look for Long Yu and the others. But he encountered this situation. Of course, Tian Yutian could not directly rush into the auction house. When he saw Long Yu and Pine Crane flying away with the others, he immediately carried the large piece of ice and ran out of the city. Although he could not fly, he had comprehended the laws of the Violet Radiance Heavenly Tablet and had condensed the true spirit of the Violet Radiance Spirit Leopard, so his speed was not slow at all. He was able to keep up with Long Yu and Pine Crane on the ground. However, a large group of martial cultivators had caught up to Tian Yutian. The people from the Clearwater Pavilion and the Immortal Treasure Auction House were unwilling to let Tian Yutian go. While the city lord was busy dealing with the ingrate subordinates, they wanted to capture Tian Yutian and obtain the adamantine fruit. The adamantine fruit was still in Tian Yutian's hands, and Pine Crane had not taken it away. Now that the abstruse leaf was gone, even if Pine Crane had the adamantine fruit, it would not be of much use to him. "Come up." Long Yu pondered for a moment, then descended to the ground and reached out his hand. Tian Yutian did not hesitate to leap toward Long Yu and grab Long Yu's hand. Long Yu brought Lu Yuan, Tian Yutian, and a huge piece of ice into the sky once again. He was able to fly with all his might using the lunar wings and dragon sparrow dance. and his speed was a lot faster than Tian Yutian's. However, if the ingrate subordinates caught up to him, Long Yu's speed would not be enough. Although the city lord of Fallen Soldier City was not a match for the ingrate subordinates, he would not be defeated so easily. As long as he could buy some time, Long Yu, Pine Crane, and the others would be able to escape far away. At that time, he would not be able to track them down even if he wanted to. By the time Pine Crane and Long Yu had flown far enough, the city lord of Soldier Demise City dragged his injured body into the air and flew in the opposite direction of Pine Crane. The ingrate subordinates were unwilling to let him go. They too flew into the sky and chased after him. In this way, the distance between him and Pine Crane, Long Yu, and the others was getting further and further away. The city lord of Fallen Soldier City was not going to sit and wait for death. He wanted to go to other cities in the North Sea Nation to ask for reinforcements. In the capital of the North Sea Nation, there were experts who could subdue the ingrate's 7 wolf guards. Passionless Mountain Range. Long Yu brought the 3 of them to the depths of the Passionless Mountain Range with some difficulty. When they returned to Pine Crane's residence, they landed and breathed a sigh of relief. This should be the Passionless Mountain Range, right? Tian Yutian also breathed a sigh of relief. He looked around and said with some surprise, "It's the depths of the Passionless Mountain Range." Long Yu nodded his head and immediately sat down to adjust his breathing. He quickly recovered the Xian Qi that he had consumed. The ingrate subordinates would not be able to find this place, so their safety was no longer a problem. However, the preparation for refining the Davis secret pill had failed. Without the mystic leaf, the Davis secret pill could not be refined. Pine Crane did not know how long it would take for him to step into the Davis secret realm. Although elder, she was talented in martial arts. If he could step into the Davis secret realm on his own, he would have done it long ago. Why would he be stuck at the rank 9 true spirit for so long? Now that he was getting older, he had to rely on elixirs to take that step. Otherwise, the hope of stepping into the Davis secret realm was extremely slim. The golden-robed alchemist is called Che Jianzi. He is also the ingrate's subordinate. Pine Crane thought for a moment and said, "They probably want the mystic leaf to refine the Davis secret pill so that Che Jianzi can step into the Davis secret realm and prolong his life." Prolong his life? Lu Yuan was a little confused. That's right, prolong his life. Pine Crane nodded his head. Once a martial cultivator steps into the Davis secret realm, there's a world of difference between them and other martial cultivators. The most fundamental difference is that the body is one with heaven and earth. Even a withered and old body like Che Jianzi can recover its youth in an instant. We ordinary martial cultivators can at most live to 100 years old, and our lifespan is approaching. But if we step into the Davis secret realm, our lifespan can be increased to 200 years. Stepping into the Davis secret realm could increase one's lifespan. When Long Yu heard this, his heart skipped a beat. In that case, the Davis secret realm and the true spirit secret realm were indeed different in nature. One step over was the sky, and if one couldn't, they would still be on the ground like ants. Even if Long Yu went all out and could already kill ordinary rank 9 true spirit experts, he would still be unable to withstand a single blow from someone in the Davis secret realm. Even if Long Yu's martial arts realm went up a level and reached the rank 7 true spirit or rank 8 true spirit, he might not be able to fight against the Davis secret realm expert. Once one entered the Davis secret realm, he would be heaven and above all other martial cultivators. Little Tian, have you finished gathering the herbs I asked you to? Pine Crane walked over and said to Tian Yuqian, "If you have, you can save your brother." "Thank you, Senior Pine Crane." Tian Yuqian's face lit up with joy. He knew that Pine Crane was probably in a bad mood after failing to refine the Davis secret pill, but he was still willing to save his brother Lu Xiao, which made him very excited. The two of them had known each other since they were young, and they had a wish, which was to enter the Heavenly Mandate Institute together and become a disciple of the Institute. You're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.